ties, I should say, including the 2024 finalists Great Wakering Rovers hosting Wivenhoe Town, which is where we have sent BBC Essex summariser April Smith. Two sides with differing forms at the start of this season. When it comes to the Wakering side, April, who is there to be particularly wary of for Wivenhoe?
So we've got three changes. So particularly, most notably for the goalkeeper. So Michael Bett has come in for an absent George Martin on dual registration.
We lost you briefly there, April. Come back to you.
Until now, a very experienced goalkeeper, but Michael Bett, who's on loan from a dual registration from Tilbury. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. We've also got Alfie Wicks and Wakering stalwart Harry Tall, but he's back in to start. So we've got one in particular striker, Alex Teninola.
I think it's busy at Great Wakering, which is a good sign. So we'll get April back on the good old-fashioned telephone line during the half-time. We'll get some updates from that one. But a couple of changes there in the Wakering side. This team in the Essex Senior League unbeaten so far this season, up against a Wivenhoe side struggling in the Thurlow Nunn in the early stages of their campaign. So we'll be back off to Wakering later on in the programme. Keep across all those scores for you in the FA Vars, as well as the rest of the scores from across the non-league pyramid here in Essex. The time is 5-3.
BBC Essex Sport.
Good afternoon to you from Victoria Polly on BBC Essex Sport, with all of this on the way.
No Oscar Thorne in the lineup for Colchester United this afternoon, with the club having accepted a bid for the outstanding academy product. The U's are looking to bounce back against Barrow after their midweek defeat to Cambridge United. It's live on 103.5 FM on BBC Essex and Preview 716 with David Gregory and me, Neil Kelly.
Over 300 miles southwest, Southend United have made their first ever trip to Cornwall to take on Truro City. Can the Blues continue their brilliant start to the National League season against the 5th tier New Boys? Full commentary on 95.3 FM, DAB and the BBC Sport website with Glenn Pennyfather and me, Warren Muggleton.
Braintree Town back in front of their home fans and looking for their second win of this National League season and a first ever victory over Yeovil Town. And if they can rediscover their form that got them a 3-0 victory here on opening day, they'll fancy their chances. We'll have updates throughout the afternoon to come.
We're also with Great Wakering Rovers and Wivenhoe Town in the FA Vars first qualifying round. We've got 15 sides in action in that. Also keeping across what's happening in the National South of Chancellor City, Isthmian Premier, Isthmian North and the FA Trophy preliminary round as well. Already this afternoon in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur have beaten Manchester City by 2-0 at the Etihad, and in the Women's Rugby World Cup, Australia have thumped Samoa by 73 points to 0. England winning their opening game of the campaign last night. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on across the world of football here in Essex and the rest of the day's sports news as well. But it's time to choose your game here on BBC Essex Sport 103.5 FM and Freeview 716 to listen to Colchester United against Barrow in League 2, 95.3 FM, DAB and the BBC Sport website for Southend United at Truro in the National League. Updates to come from our featured games as well here on BBC Essex Sport, the home of the county's live sport, and it is 3 minutes to 3.
BBC Essex Sport.
Dohajida Holvilcoma de Truro, which is Kerno, the language of Cornwall, for good afternoon and welcome to Truro, where Southend United have travelled 316 miles for a first ever competitive game against a team from the most southwestern county of England as they travel to Truro City in their 4th National League game of the season. We are indeed very far southwest. In fact, Land's End is only 33.8 miles away from our position on top of one of the many Cornish hills around us. In the land where the sun sets last, Southend United 99 miles away from Ness Point, where it rises first in this country. And that metaphor makes you think, doesn't it? For Southend, The sun has set on what was an incredible season last year, getting to Wembley, but it is rising fast in what has been an unbeaten start to the campaign. We're aiming to go 4 unbeaten for the first time in 16 years to start a campaign. And we talk about clean sheets, they haven't done that for 48 years. What achievement that would be to do that. As for Truro City, they've had a lot of success in the last couple of years, but in these early days of the first ever National League season, the sun seems to have set on those ones, and we're waiting to rise as they look for a first win in this level, and actually a first goal following Morecambe's 2-1 win over Altrincham. Truro are the only team in the National League not to score yet after, well, what will be after 3 games, but they come into this one looking to upset the odds. Perhaps it's a bubbling atmosphere at the Truro City Stadium. 700 Southend fans to my right, and we're surrounded by plenty of people wearing the red and black of Truro City, the first professional Cornish football team. And well, these parts have been known in the past for swashbuckling history, so let me introduce our punditry pirate to my left, Glenn Pennyfather. Glenn, you mentioned this earlier in the week as well, and I look back at the form Southend had against the top 8, middle 8, bottom 8. They conceded their most defeats to bottom 8 teams last season. So if Southend are going to really do what we all hope they will do this season, it's these type of games where the difference needs to be from last year. Yeah, absolutely. I've never been introduced as a pirate, but that's very nice. In the nicest way. Thanks very much for that, Warren, and hopefully it's pieces of 8 for Southend United. Oh, there today. We go. But yeah, I mean, it always worries me when you come up against the side, and you just said it yourself in the build-up there, the fact that they haven't scored a goal yet. Truro City, they sit rock bottom. Southend United haven't conceded a goal, haven't been beaten. Those sorts of things always worry me. Southend United just need to approach the game exactly the same as they have done all the others. You know, the first away game at Gateshead, they was magnificent. They got off to a great start, and that was all about their application right from the beginning. The tempo, the intensity they started the game. And that whistle from referee Sam Mulhall tells you the game has started here in Cornwall. For Southend in their yellow shirts with the blue sleeves, yellow shorts and blue socks, they start with a 3-5-2. 3 changes from the draw against York City, and Dengendy in goal. Captain Harry Taylor, Ben Goodliff and Joe Gubbins make up the back 3. Gus Scott Morris is on the right, Harry Boyes is on the left, Noor Hussein sits in the midfield. In front of him, Sam Austin and Ollie Coker, 2 changes into the midfield. Ben Goodliff, I should say, wearing the captain's armband today. Andy Dallas joined by Tom Hopper in leading the line. They're going from right to left as we sit. Truro City, the home side, in the red and black. Foul just given away by Harry Taylor. Started with the back 4. Dan Lavercombe in goal, wearing green. Christian Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right. Will Dean, the captain, joined by Sam Sanders to his left in the centre-back pairing, with Ryan Law expected to be left back. Lirak Hassani and Dan Rooney in the middle. Dominic Johnson, Fisher, looks like he's leading the line alongside Raquel Pike, with Yassine Ennea and Zach Bell also involved. But as the game unfolds, Glenn, we'll see how Truro do as they take a long 3 kick aimed towards Raquel Pike on the edge of the penalty area. Gets a head onto it but won't find another Truro man. Goodliff lets it bounce along him to Ndang and D. Glenn, what are you seeing from Truro with their own? Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks like they've likened Blues up in the middle of the park. I mean, you can see now that the 7, Yassine Ennea, he's on Noor Hussein's shoulder. Ollie Coker just gets the ball stolen off him. It's quite a foul given away by Rooney. Quite a weak foul, I thought. But they look like they've likened Blues up in midfield, and it looks like it's gone to a man-to-man. Sam Austin is being dealt with by Hassani, and Ollie Coker is being dealt with by Rooney, who just give away that foul. 2 up the top, and I think they have thrown that third centre half in. We was wondering whether they would do that. They have thrown the third centre half in, so they've got more or less gone like for like with Blues, and it's toe to toe. Dallas trying to head forward to Hopper, but it's cut out by Truro Sanders before they can move. Southend have become known for their fast starts in these opening 3 games. They're trying to get going after 2 minutes here, but no goal malfaction to tell you about. So to confirm the Truro lineup, the back 3 of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Dean and Sanders, Bell on the right, Law on the left. In the midfield, Hassani and Ennea are in front of Rooney, and then the top 2 are Johnson, Fisher and Pike. Yeah, they have gone wing backs though. I mean, it's Chamberlain has gone right side of the 3, Dean central of the 3, and it's Sanders on the left side of the 3. So they've thrown the wing backs in. So they've got Zach Bell on this right hand side. On the left hand side, it's Fisher, not Fisher. It's Law, isn't it? Ryan Law on the left hand side. So they've, as I say, they've likened Blues up over the pitch. So you know, Blues will be able to deal with that. Boys cutting out a pass from Oxlade Chamberlain. If you think I do recognise that name, you certainly do. It's brother Alex, the former Arsenal and Liverpool player, now at Besiktas in Turkey. Won Champions League honours in 2019.
Yeah, just about
FA Cups. Won it all.
Come back, isn't he? Just about to come back, I think. Oh, good run.
Joe Gubbins has taken the ball quite a long way towards the halfway line. Boys just nudging it through a couple of players. Dallas on the halfway line goes down against the challenge, but Truro hate the ball back. Dominic Fisher trying to put it into the middle for Enea, but it's cut out by Noor Hussein, and Austin is first to it. Always looking forward, but couldn't get it away.
Yeah, just prior to that, Joe Gubbins just needed to get his head up. Hopper would have gone on a great run. He'd got attracted towards the ball, spun into that channel, and it was an easy ball from a left-footed centre half just to clip it into that space. There was plenty of space for him to put that ball in there for a great run by Hopper.
But meanwhile, Hopper has just won a corner kick.
He just didn't have his head up, Joe Gubbins. Yeah, but good work. Obviously, we know Tom Hopper will do all that work.
Yeah, ball from Scott Morris from the right, looping over the top for Hopper to chase onto, but Dean, the captain for Truro, on his own, chasing it back and had no option but to put it over his own byline. So a corner kick, the first set piece of the afternoon after 4 minutes, goes to Southend on the far side from our position. Truro playing from left to right, red and black striped shirts, black shorts, red socks. Boys whipping this in. It's for Scott Morris's head, and it's taken off the line by Bell with his foot. It was aimed at that bottom right corner. Excellent climb from Scott Morris, but Truro denied him after 4 minutes for the first big chance. But here they come again. Scott Morris whipping it into the middle before Law clears it away with his head. Coker first to it, but Dominic Fisher of Truro takes it off him, tries to break away. Referee says no, foul given, in Southend able to come back again. And well, if I say the game's come alive after 4.5 minutes by Southend standards. That's about right.
Yeah, I mean it couldn't have done much more. Gus Scott Morris is a great ball in by Harry Boys. Gus Scott Morris, as he does, attacks the ball well, gets his header in, heads it down. It's a good defending on the goal line, clears it. But Ollie Coker, the ball's popped out to the middle of the box. I think a fully fit, a fully confident, a match fit Ollie Coker takes that first time. He's had a scruffy touch, and the ball's got away from him, and it's nicked from him on the edge of the box.
As you say, first start for Ollie Coker since our trip to Gloucestershire for the playoff semi-final back in the middle of May. What a day that was.
Just looking at the grass, and I think I said it before we came on air, watching them warm up. The grass is quite dry. They've walled it quite heavily, but it's still very dry. So it's a very warm day. The ball doesn't seem to be zipping as you would expect it. It's quite slow. If they're pinging it along the floor, it's quite slow with its movement. The ball, it's not moving particularly fast.
Well, one man who is moving fast is Truro City's Dominic Fisher. He's got past Goodliff, right side of the penalty area, looks to put it across, man onto it, he's Law with a shot, and it comes off Coker. It goes over the byline, and there's a corner kick. Goodliff was left behind by Truro's forward, and the crowd are stamping their feet around as it's a first corner kick for Truro City. We saw it in the Wilson game, first game of the season. They like to attack at pace.
Yeah, well that's Ben Goodliff's Achilles heel, isn't it? The last thing Ben Goodliff wants to do is get isolated out wide in a one-on-one foot race with somebody like Johnson Fisher, who's very, very quick, and he was always going to lose that race. And you have to say the ball come across wasn't the best ball the fella was coming onto. It was a great block by Coker, but they've got to make sure Goodliff doesn't get caught in those positions.
Hassani's played it short into the penalty area. It's a bit of a training ground move from Truro, trying to catch out Southend at the near post as the corner came in from the far side, but it came off a man in red and black last, and it went over the byline, so it will be a goal kick for Southend. 6.5 minutes in, 0-0, with both sides having a good chance on goal.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for Blues, when he got into that position, Johnson Fisher, he didn't pick out the right pass, did he? I mean, it was a pass that kind of missed everybody, cut everybody out of the game, and it was played to the edge of the box on the far side, and I think it was on rushing Ryan Law, wasn't he, was coming onto it, but it was a decent block by Ollie Coker.
Scott Morris has kept the ball alive as from a long goal kick from Ndengen D. Dallas has tried to chase it towards the right corner, but he's caught offside. It will be a restart for Truro, which goalkeeper Dan Lavercombe will take. One of the biggest appearance makers for Truro over the last season.
Yeah, good idea, wasn't it, from it was Gus Scott Morris, but definitely offside. Andrew Dallas, I'm sat right in line with that.
Yeah, lots packed in to the Truro City Stadium here, which is very new. It's only their second season here. It all comes with Truro City, a sharp rise up the table when they were purchased by Ontario Inc. Had a connection with Eric Perez, formerly with Cornwall Rugby League FC. Their first Cornish team to go professional as a football club. See what they can do in the fifth tier. And meanwhile, they're starting to build some possession for themselves down this right side. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Bell and Dominic Johnson-Fisher starting to get some combinations in these early stages. Oxlade-Chamberlain with the throw-in.
Yeah, it hasn't fully settled down yet. As you say, they've had a chance apiece, but it hasn't fully settled down the game yet. There's no real pattern in it at the moment.
And Southend do give some space to Rooney for Truro, spreads it from right to left into Ryan, wearing some bright orange boots. Has to come into the middle of the field, back to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's just beyond the halfway line. Hassani, a couple of step overs, but Austin of Southend trying to put him under pressure. We go back to Dean, the captain. Oxlade-Chamberlain, time to get his head up as Austin takes a little slip, and it opens the gap for Hassani to pick up the ball, running from that right wing to chip it over the top into Ennea, facing the penalty area to take a volley, and it just bounced to the left of that left upright, and Damon Dean tried to dive. It was good composure from the man who joined from Torquay United, let it bounce twice before taking on the shot. It goes off target, still 0-0, but more danger from Truro.
Yeah, it was good approach play by Truro. It was good patient play, build up, wasn't it? And it was a lovely little ball played over the top. And he had to head the first ball. The ball was, it wasn't the easiest ball to control for Ennea, and he did well with his head and just nodded it past one of Blue's defenders. And as you say, he let it bounce, but he didn't really catch the strike, did he, on the right-hand side inside the box? And it's flashed across the face of Collins going out for the goal kick.
Yeah, seen Ennea, second season I should say, with Truro. Moroccan, former Nottingham Forest youth, 19 appearances for Maldon and Tiptree on a loan spell from Colchester United, where he made no appearances for the U's. Southend win possession back inside Truro's half with Scott Morris, who tries to lift it towards Dallas. Because we see the foul on Will Dean. There will be another restart for Truro. Yeah, you've talked about Dallas, Andy Dallas as well. We have ourselves. Kevin said it's just about getting more and more minutes into him, and what would you like to see from him today?
No, I'd like to see him score a goal, obviously.
Beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, of course he's working hard to get his fitness. He hasn't had any games or too many games anyway during pre-season. It's very similar to Macaulay Bonne when Macaulay Bonne turned up last season, wasn't it? And he needed those games. He needed to get his fitness up, and you can see it's very, very similar to Andrew Dallas. He needs to build his match fitness up, and hopefully for Blue's sake he's gradually doing that. But he's only going to get that with minutes on the pitch, Warren.
Southend able to win the ball back inside their own half. Hopper's gone down under a challenge from Sanders, who's protesting with the referee Sam Mulhall as he slid in to win it, but referee says it will be a free kick for Southend. Hawes Newson spotted a run from Boys, who wanted to get going, but referee not ready.
Yeah, I can understand Truro City, the way they're going about things. They're flooding midfield, really. They're making it very congested in the middle of the park. The Sim Blues like to play through the areas. They like to play in those little triangles, especially in midfield, and then get the ball wide into the front men as well. And they're very tight at the back. That's why they've gone the three at the back, I think, and it allows two of them to go really tight with Tom Hopper and Andrew Dallas. You can see Tom Hopper's, he's as soon as he's receiving the ball at his feet, he's getting bitten by the back of his ankles by Sam Sanders, and I don't blame Truro. You know, they've got to knock Blues out their stride, and Blues have to deal with that. They have to make sure it's an old saying in football, we have to win the battle.
So free kick for Southend, right side of the centre circle. Coker to line up this free kick. Going high, aim for Hopper's head, gets a header onto it, takes a couple of deflections from Truro defenders. It almost came to Scott Morris, but Oxlade-Chamberlain there to put it into the path of Dan Rooney to clear away. I think the referee's flag's gone up for offside anyway against Scott Morris, so will be another restart for Truro. Second offside for Southend. Lots of attacking intent, just lacking that accuracy in that penalty area. Well,
yeah, it just didn't fall for a Blues player, did it? They've won the first challenge, haven't they? And they've done that a couple of times. We've seen Gus Scott Morris have a header cleared off the line from a set play already, and again Truro couldn't really deal with that set player. It was kept alive in the penalty area, and it just wouldn't fall for a Blues player. Not quite sure who strayed offside, but it looked like I think it was somebody was on the line. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure who strayed offside.
Colchester United 1-0 down after 9 minutes at the JobServe Community Stadium. Barrow taking the lead against them. Ball on its way down from a goal kick by Dan Lavercombe amid the pinball in the midfield as it took a bounce off the back of referee Sam Mulhall. So we start with a drop in the centre circle for Truro. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Rooney exchanging passes. No relation to Wayne, that Dan Rooney. High ball on that left side, straight onto the head of Southend's Harry Taylor. And Coker and Hussein bring it to ground. 13 minutes played at the Truro City Stadium, and it's no goals. Throw in for Southend. between the two technical areas. There's a fair bit of space between them as well. This facility, it's very new. Kevin Mayer will always find the edge of it to foul along.
Got to, haven't you? I mean,
this is a free kick.
You live it every game as a manager, as a head coach. You live it. You're kicking every ball, you're heading everything, you're doing all the tackling, you're doing all the chasing, you're doing everything on that sideline. You're mentally exhausted at the end of it.
So, did your managerial career ever bring you here?
Truro, yeah, a few times. Yeah, a couple of times.
It's played short by Southend. Scott Morris into Dallas, but the first touch goes beyond him and it rolls straight into the gloves of Dan Lavercombe. Clever stuff from Southend, but Dallas not quite able to get onto it. One step behind it.
It was such a shame. Yeah, he just got caught on his heels a shade. It was a great feed in from Gus Scott Morris on that right hand side, right in that channel in between people. And if Andrew Dallas would have been able to latch onto it with that first touch, he might well have stolen it a half a yard to get his strike in. But as it was, it just evaded his touch and it goes through no problem through to the goalkeeper. But it was a good ball by Gus Scott Morris. Great fault.
The Southend with a chance to build from the back again. So Scunthorpe United taking a 1-0 lead at Sutton United as well. Don't forget all those scores on the BBC Sport website. Goodliff trying to get Scott Morris running down the right with that advanced position he likes to take up, but it's headed back by Law, and Rooney able to escape from Sam Austin, and a couple of slips again from Ollie Coker in midfield, and it tries to thread it through from Enea into Johnson Fisher, always hanging off that last man is the number 11 for Truro, but can't quite find him yet. Pass is just lacking accuracy at the moment. Johnson Fisher picked up a high ball though, took it on his back heel trying to get forward. It would have been an incredible bit of skill if it had come off, but it was too heavy. It eventually found its way to Southend goalkeeper and Dengan D, wearing all grey today.
Yeah, just prior to that though, it was great reading of the game by, they talk about the, defending, and defending is all about make sure you protect your goal, and it's not all about making sure that you get a tackle in or making sure you get a challenge in. Sometimes it's just about reading the game and intercepting things, and Ben Goodliff did that absolutely perfectly. So the lad had gone on a great run. The player on the ball for Truro had seen him and tried to slide him in. Ben Goodliff read it probably 20 seconds before and just stepped into the space, and in the end it looked a bad pass, but it wasn't. It was great defending by Ben Goodliff.
Scott Morris on the floor again. Again, the fourth time I've seen them slip over, but you mentioned it is a dry pitch out there and they're trying to water it, but it plays its part in it. We all came to this thinking the wind would have a factor today, but there's not an ounce of it.
No, we know when it's dry, the pitch is very, very dry, and you walk with the water sits on top, so it does make it slippy in places. But just looking at that, Gus Scott Morris has gone on a number of runs that we've come to expect from him, and Collins tried to pick him out a couple of times. What's then next important, if he doesn't win it, you've got to pick up that second phase, and Blues haven't done that yet so far. The ball's been picked up by Truro. They've got that extra man in midfield now, and they're picking up the second phase of those balls played forward. They're winning the first header, but it should be Blues picking up the next phase because that keeps the pressure on. 16 minutes played here in Cornwall. This is now BBC Essex. Truro City 0, Southend United 0 in this National League clash. Throw-in for Truro on the far side. They're playing from left to right. Oxlade-Chamberlain lining up a long throw. He's got plenty of room to wind it up. He's for Sanders' heads, but it'll be Hopper that's able to clear it away. Scott Morris getting onto the second one. He's gone down inside his own penalty area. Went to challenge it alongside a Truro City attacker, which was Enea. I think he might just had a little clash at the head, and looks like the referee's decision has gone Southend's way. So it'll be a free kick for Southend. It's inside their own penalty area. Not convinced there was a clash of heads, to be honest, but I mean Gus Scott Morris certainly won the first one, and as he's gone up there was a bit of a coming together, but Gus Scott Morris has run away no problem whatsoever, but the referee deemed it a free kick, and a free kick it is.
Gubbins and Goodliff exchanging passes in the Southend defence. Now Goodliff striding towards the halfway line, lifting it in for Dallas to chase, but the gate gets closed on him by Truro's Law and Sanders, who exchange high fives as Jack Lavercombe picks it up into his grasp.
Difficult balls to play though, Warren. Is it was straight balls, obviously right down the middle. Dallas has gone on a run. It's not the best run in the world, but you're the man with the ball, so Ben Goodliff has got to make that decision. He doesn't have to pick Andrew Dallas out just because he's gone on a poor run, but he's tried to pick him out, and in the end the pass is poor as well because it's straight through, it evades everybody and goes straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
Brackley have taken a 1-0 lead over Rochdale. That would be quite a surprise. Rochdale, the leaders in the National League table before today. Dallas has done well to take it under control for Southend inside Truro's half, but juggled it but couldn't offload it to Hopper, working in close quarters, and sees the throw in for Truro on that far side. Still 0-0.
Yeah, it was a heavy touch, wasn't it, from Andrew Dallas? You can see at the moment, he's fighting for that, isn't he? He's fighting for his touch just to find a little bit of space, and it's just evading him and getting away from the moment. The shackles are on Hopper and Dallas at the moment from the lads at the back for Truro.
Truro into Southend's half again, drifting from left to right. Bell has to go back to Oxlade-Chamberlain. It was Enea that got the Truro fans onto the edge of their seat. Sanders lifts it forward for Raquel Pike to chase, but Taylor for Southend gets there first. Scott Morris aside, safety is best, and goes back to Ndengendi, who has throngs of Southend fans behind him, cheering him along. Some of them in the blue, some of them in the new yellow kits. Scubbins and Goodliff once again exchange. He's always looking to try and thread it through the middle. Hopper has to come to the halfway line to pick it up.
Yeah, you've noticed that the two front lads are split. Look, they're quite happy for Ben Goodliff to have the ball. Both Johnson, Fisher and Pike are splitting on Harry Taylor and Joe Gubbins, so they're not allowing Blues to come out into this wide area.
Well, Scott Morris is spotted by Goodliff on the right, but he's caught offside by Ryan Law. Third offside of this half against Southend. And still no goals to report here in Cornwall. And Pennyfar was looking nervously down to my left because he's dropped his pen.
I've dropped me pen, can you believe it?
Oh, unbelievable, Glenn.
No. Sure. Terrible business.
We talk about Andy Dallas, of course joined at the loan from Barnsley just before the first game of the season, looking for a 70th competitive goal of his career. His last coming in a 3-1 defeat for Morecambe at Grimsby Town back in April this year. And has that impressive National League record, 52 National League goals in 135 appearances. Meanwhile, Noor Hussein's won a free kick for Southend just inside his own half, takes it quickly to get it out to Boys, who's had scant room on this left wing. He's been well marked by Zach Bell of Truro, but he's trying to get on the mark straight away. Does have a throw in here.
They have set up to stifle Blues. You can see that they've done their homework. You've just seen the fact that they're quite happy for Ben Goodliff. They've obviously said, look, Ben Goodliff's the one as maybe they've turned around and said Ben Goodliff is the player at the back three whose distribution is not the best out of the three, but it also doesn't allow Blues out in those wide areas and get the overloads. Harry Taylor just trying to go on one then. We know Joe Gubbins will do it that side as well, but they've done their homework and they're stifling Blues at the moment.
Well, meanwhile Southend have started to get the ball moving for the first time in this game, and they have pulled Truro from left to right, getting back to the one-touch passing which we've seen before. Noor Hussein just on the edge of the centre circle, whilst Southend tried a latest attempt to pick the lock of the Truro City defence. Let's make the 300-mile hop back to Essex. Braintree Town in action at Cressing Road against Yeovil Town, looking to get back to winning ways. Angus Patterson watching this one. What's the latest?
Braintree 0, Yeovil 0, the latest at Cressing Road here, Warren. Yeovil started the brighter as Byron Pendleton hit the crossbar in just the 3rd minute, but Lewis Walker missed the biggest chance of the game so far for Braintree in the 16th minute. It was played through beautifully by Fletcher Hubbard, had a shot on the corner of the 6-yard box, but it just kept rising over the corner of post and bar over Jed Ward's goal. Braintree 0, Yeovil Town 0 here after 21 minutes.
And a 316-mile hop, and we're back in Truro, and I had a little look through the archives of this one. It's a long journey for us as well from Essex. I mean, there's only 3 sides that Southend have made longer journeys against. Do you want any ideas? In a league match.
In a league match?
In a league match. I'll give you a clue for one of them. They're in this league. Carlisle's one of them.
Yeah.
One of them's in League 2.
Barrow.
Yep, 320 miles. The longest one, I'll tell you, they did it 48 years ago against Workington in Cumbria.
Wow.
In there.
Yeah, Workington.
A long time ago. In those Division 4 days, back in February 1977. So it won 3-0 on that day.
Cool, even I didn't play then. That's a long while ago. Nick Allicker would have been commentating.
He would have been, yeah. Good afternoon.
Welcome along.
Meanwhile, Southend winning it, throwing inside their own half. Still no goals in Cornwall. Austin and Boys had their impressive debuts at Gateshead. That was a 299-mile journey for Southend. Hopper wins it with his head but lost track of the ball, and Hassani tries to put it into the area of Raquel Pike, but Harry Taylor has a good reading on him. Raquel Pike, an interesting signing that one for Truro City as well. Glenn, I say 8 goals in 148 EFL appearances for him. Joined from Grimsby in July.
Spent a short time at Colchester.
Yeah, a lot of clubs in his time. Now finds himself at Truro City. Scott Morris attempted a volleyed crossfield pass, and now Southend have lost the ball, and Truro on the attack through Rooney down the middle. Hassani gets onto a loose ball as Boys try to take it off to Truro number 8. Eventually it has to work its way back to Bell, and Southend get their shape back, but know that there is a threat from Truro, which, as you say, Glenn, matching an intensity that Southend have shown in their first 3 games.
Yeah, I just think, they're frustrating the life out of Blues at the moment. I mean, Blues' best opportunities, they look the most dangerous from set plays. In open play, they don't particularly look dangerous. Their distribution hasn't been great. They haven't really got their passing game together. But you have to give Truro City some credit from the way they're set up. They're man for man all over the pitch, really. They're leaving the lad Sanders free at the back, but everybody else is tightened down. The 2 lads are tightened down on Hopper and Dallas, and midfield 3 are all over them. The 2 lads up front are splitting on Taylor and Gubbins, and it just leaves Ben Goodliff free at the moment. So Blues are finding it frustrating, because normally we see them pass through the areas, don't we, and we're not seeing that at the moment.
Just seen the first yellow card of the game after 24 minutes. It's gone to Zach Bell for a challenge on Tom Hopper inside Southend's half, which they started with a free kick, which they played short and decided to go back. And Dengendy, despite a few nervy calls from the fans around him, finding Goodliff. Boys having to go back, and Dengendy looking for a 7th consecutive clean sheet, a 40th clean sheet of his career today. Dallas on the halfway line, trying to thread it into Boys. Will find him, doesn't quite have the strength to take it off Bell, and takes the foul off him as well, the Truro City man. So the home side will restart with a free kick, and it's the number 2 for the Tinners, getting the applause from the fans around us.
Again, that's a perfect example of them being disciplined, them doing their job. Bell's been detailed to deal with Harry Boys. He's followed his run all the way from this wide side. We watched it right in front of us, right the way across the middle of the pitch. He's already read the ball into him from Andrew Dallas. He's had it was a sloppy first touch, wasn't it, from Harry Boys? It wasn't tight enough, and it allowed Bell to nick the ball, and in the end Harry Boys gives the free kick away. But once again, credit to Truro for doing their job.
Yeah, Bell's walked away a little gingerly from the challenge on his bright green boots. He's up on his feet, the former Wales under-19s man. A bit of header tennis, ends with Harry Taylor bringing the ball down for Southend on the edge of his own penalty area. It was back to Ndeng, straight out to Gubbins, but Dominic Joseph Fisher chasing that down, and Gubbins had to get it out straight away. And now a second attempt at the clearance, puts it out inside his own half, and it will be a Truro throw-in, and Oxlade-Chamberlain will step up to launch this one forward.
Yeah, good pressure, wasn't it, from the Truro forwards, and Bell on this right-hand side, putting Harry Boys and Joe Gubbins under all sorts of pressure. In the end, Joe Gubbins miscues his clearance and straight out for the throw-in in the last third, probably level with the Blues penalty area.
Oxlade-Chamberlain joined from Kidderminster Harriers over the summer, spent last season on loan, making 45 appearances. As I said, mentioned Alex's brother before, but football runs in the family. Their dad used to play as well. Here we go, long throw in from this near wing. So Chamberlain spinning it forward, but it's headed away by Hopper. Back to the man who threw it in for Truro. And it's across for the far post. They can't get a head onto it. It came off the back of Goodliff. And then Dengendy wants to get going straight away. He spotted Dallas running out on that right side. 27 minutes played. Still no goals between Truro and Southend here on BBC Essex. Warren Muggleton and Glenn Pennyfather with this one. Scott Morris lifting it towards Hopper. He's made a clever run. Takes on the chest into the penalty area. Looks for the shot. And he can't get it away. There was a deflection though off of Dean, the Truro captain. So it will be another corner kick. Glenn, you mentioned set pieces, and that's where they've had their best chances, Southend. Another big one hit. Yeah,
absolutely. Obviously, you're looking for the quality ball in again from Harry Boys, but super counter attack from Blues. Credit to Colin to start with, throwing it out nice and sharply to Andrew Dallas on the run down that right hand side. Eventually ends up with Gus Scott Morris back at his feet, and he's picked out a super ball over the top of the run of Hopper. It's a decent first touch, but good defending on the recovery by Truro.
Boys with the left-footed corner, aiming for Dallas's head, but it goes over him, trickles over the goal line, and that opportunity whistles away into the Cornish sky. It'll be a goal kick.
You do think that there should be somebody detailed to fill that area. That ball hasn't been ballooned over the top and out for a goal kick. It's landed it at the far post where you expect a Blues player to fill that space. and unfortunately they're taking up positions in the near post and in the middle of goals. You know, people are making similar runs. It needs somebody to maybe spin out from the near post, end up at that far post, and they might well have got on the end of that.
Aerial threat. Not quite able to come from Truro. Gateshead taking a 1-0 lead over Tamworth. They've had a tough start this season. A few protests from the Truro fans around as the foul goes against Dominic Johnson-Fisher. I'll tell you what, it's a day for double barrel names today. If you include Leon Chambers Parallon, that's 9 players across the 22 involved today. So I've been practicing those, Glenn.
Mine could be double barreled, I suppose. Penny Farmer.
Could do.
Yeah.
If not, it's 8.
Yeah.
Each to their own.
I'll leave mine as just one.
What would it be?
Penny Farmer.
Penny. Well, there we go.
Yeah. Let's not confuse things.
Could I get away with it?
No.
Muggle Tom. It's just emphasis. Anyway, Southend conceding a foul on the halfway line on their far side, so it'll be a free kick for Truro with Ryan Law to take this one. Launches it forward with that left foot. Aims for the head of Dean, but Gubbins able to get there first, and Sam Austin onto the loose ends. Ensures that Hassani is the man who touches it last before it goes out on Southend's left wing on this near side, and it'll be a throw-in for the men in yellow. So Harry Boyes with the ball in his hands. Well, that second assist for Southend, that 2-0 win against Tamworth last week. Just assessing his options now.
It's just Ben Goodliff has he got a slight problem. Referee's having a look at Ben Goodliff. Ben Goodliff's just looking at it might just be his boot, actually, his laces, but he's okay.
So he's having a quick assessment of them, and he's away again. Ben Goodliff, as we know, knows how to get out of the National League. Did it with Sutton United 4 years ago. Again, Truro just keeping Southend away from the ball, trying to get Pike running. Fans around us think that Joe Gubbins had too much of Raquel Pike, but referee says nothing given. And now Austin, as the ball comes to ground inside Southend's half, launched it with a half volley, hoping that someone would run onto it, but nobody able to keep up. So all the way to Truro's Lavacum, the goalkeeper. He goes short to Dean, now Oxlade-Chamberlain. Again, looking to get Hassani down the middle, but too much on that one. And Ndengendi taking it on his chest. I noticed well about this, Glenn, as well. There's a couple of moments last season with Ndengendi where we've talked about, Paul certainly and I talked about that communication he had with his back three, maybe just off a couple of times, but over these first 3 games I think it's really sharpened up, I think, and it's what's led to a lot of that clean sheet run that we've seen. Headed forward for Andy Dallas as it's played from the goalkeeper, right side of the penalty area. Scott Morris with the cross, looking for Austin's header, but it's cleared away by the Truro defence. Hussein back to Scott Morris, creates some space, trying to get away from Law, going down this right wing. Eventually attempts to cross. Deflection will stay in, so Morris keeping it alive, but headed away by Dean, only as far as Southend's Hussein. Action still inside Truro's half, so half an hour played. Truro 0, Southend 0. We'll come back to Ndengendi, Glenn, and see what develops out of this as Gubbins strides forward on the left side of that trio. Boyes and Austin combining in close quarters to Hussein and Coker. Out to the right, and Scott Morris takes a slip as he tried to get away from Law. 5th time that's happened for Southend now. And now Taylor and Pike trying to contest with the ball. Mayer with his hands in the air, he thinks something should have been given, but it's found its way to Johnson Fisher, who takes a tackle from Goodliff to take it out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Truro on their left wing on the far side.
Yeah,
I expect it'll be another long throw for Oxlade-Chamberlain to take.
Spot on, didn't he, Ben Goodliff, because it was 1-on-1, and he knew what had happened the last time on this right hand side, and it was on the left hand side on this occasion. He decided to make the challenge, and thankfully for Blues it was a clean challenge, and Goodliff got the ball away.
So Oxlade-Chamberlain, a gaggle of Truro fans behind him, where they've set up a big tent where they've got all their hospitality and all their food stands in there. They've been stepping up their game ahead of joining the 5th tier of English football for the first time. There's Oxlade-Chamberlain, a long launched throw in again into that near post. It bounces over a couple of Southend defenders, touched nobody, but Ndengendi able to get behind it. Johnson Fisher's gone down, holding his hands to his head, suggesting that Southend man put an elbow in the face, and Ndengendi throwing it out to Dallas, who puffs out the cheeks at frustration that play will not be allowed to continue and go all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was just looking at Colin, because Colin went down as well, didn't he? Once he threw the ball, he went down. Hopefully he's okay as well.
Well,
he's up on his feet now, so he seems okay. I'm not quite sure what he did.
Might have just been frustration. Obviously, we remember we were at Dagenham and Redbridge when he had that hamstring injury, which ruled him out for the season. So a lot of work to get back into the fold and get himself ahead of Nick Hayes in the starting 11.
Yep, he's doing okay now, isn't he? 3 clean sheets.
3 clean sheets. 9 in his last 10. Hopper heading forward to Dallas from the long goal kick, but Sanders able to get there, and it is a throw in for Southend on their right wing on the far side, in line with the penalty spot.
Complaining about something, not quite sure what they're complaining about. Something maybe possibly Tom Hopper using his arms as he's gone up to challenge for that ball. He won the ball cleanly, but I'm not quite sure what they're moaning about.
Scott Morris going short to Austin, who comes to the right edge of the penalty area. Great space for Scott Morris to put a cross into the near side. Dallas can't get his head onto it. It'll fall to Coker to shoot from distance, but deflected off Enea of Truro. And there's an offside against Scott Morris as he came to collect the ball. And Sean Rothwell, the assistant, putting his flag up for the 4th offside of the first 35 minutes for Southend. It'll be a restart for Truro. Still no goals in Cornwall.
Yeah, well, that's where they've looked the most dangerous, Blues. It's been either from set plays or crosses that have come in that have just evaded a Blues player or have been dealt with defensively by Truro. But in open play, Blues are struggling really to break down this Truro City side so far. Certainly in the way they're set up at the moment.
3 Premier League games at the moment. Bournemouth leading Wolves 1-0. Brentford also leading Aston Villa by the same score. Burnley and Sunderland goalless, the 2 promoted sides. Johnson Fisher for Truro, getting into the left edge of the penalty area, getting across, huts it behind Goodliff. Fans calling for a penalty, but it was on the edge of the penalty area as Goodliff slid in, but he'd got the ball anyway, so nothing given by the referee. And it's cleared away by Southend, only as far as Truro's captain Dean. He goes through the middle to Rooney, who's inside his own half. Oxlade-Chamberlain on this right wing on this near side. Hassani. There's space for Enea in the middle of the field. Has Law out on his left, finds him. Scott Morris trying to put pressure on the Truro men, who can only really operate it across their defensive line at the moment. Dean back to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Hopper running to put pressure on him now. Bell coming back, and Truro enjoying this possession, always trying to find the run of Johnson Fisher to get in behind the defenders. Raquel Pike though takes it under control, edge of the penalty area, across to Enea. Law's on his left. Scott Morris tracking him again, he slips, and that allows Law in on the left side. He'll drift it into the middle, but Pike won't get there. It's headed away by Taylor. Ball takes a bounce. Hassani climbed for it, and Hopper had gone down, but Southend still on the counter on this right side. Coker looking for his options, but has to go back to Scott Morris, who spreads it out to the left where Gubbins has space, but was quickly coming under pressure from Truro's Bell. Back to Goodliff he goes.
Yeah, it slipped over too many times for me, Scott Morris. In my day, I think that that would have been a fine. That would have been a proper rollicking at half time for having the wrong footwear on, and a fine for not making sure you got the correct footwear on. That would probably need to be changed at half time. Gus has probably slipped over.
Ball is threaded into Hussein, who's found a bit of space, looking for Hopper, but it's blocked off by Rooney very, very well. Austin was probably the better option to the left of him, but forward they come again. Goodliff into Hopper, but it goes beyond him. The 2 former Colchester men can't combine on that occasion. A wry smile from the Southend forward, worn out of frustration. Less than 9 minutes of normal time in this first half. Still Truro City 0, Southend United 0.
Blues probably trying to force things that are not particularly on Warren, and that's born out of frustration. And I've said it once or twice already. You have to give Truro credit. Their shape is very good. They're closing up the space. Their distances are good, especially at the back when they try and thread those balls through. And there's just not the space, and they're being picked off by the defenders of Truro City, and it is frustrating for Southend United. In the end, you end up trying to force a ball which is never on, like Ben Goodliff did, through the eye of a needle, and it's never feasible.
Throwing for the Tinners, given the nickname of course after the tin mining industry that has been here for many years. Used to be known as the White Tigers, changed it in 2024. Pushed the ball from left to right across the grass.
Didn't have White Tigers roaming here as well, did they?
Well, I don't know. I had a look out the window on the way down, but I didn't see any. One thing we both saw on the way down was a steam-powered tractor and the miles of traffic it had behind it as well. And I thought we're in Cornwall. Enea, along the byline, on the left, into the left corner for Truro on that far side. He found it to Rooney. Decides to nudge it to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's on his right. Truro inside Southend's final third, trying to pick their way through the lock. Rooney back to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Has an option on his right in Bell, but has Hassani as well, who drifts inside away from Southend's Austin, but the pressure of Austin means he has to go back to Dean. And now Sanders inside the centre circle, and he goes to get the mistake from Hassani to get the ball off him, and maybe there's an opportunity here for Southend, who picked it up inside the centre circle, kind of lifting it to Austin but just over his head, and Oxlade-Chamberlain able to drift it back to Dan Lavercombe with the deftest of touches. He'll put it out straight to Dean, and again Glenn, frustration for Southend.
Yeah, rushing his pass, Ollie Coker. He could have travelled with the ball. He had space in front of him, and he's in good possession.
Ball response to Johnson Fisher, who shot from distance, always going over the crossbar. But a third shot on goal from Truro City, and it is still 0-0. But Johnson Fisher, probably the best chance we've seen for a while. This coming up with 7 minutes of normal time left, and Glenn, probably not real threat really.
No, it was speculative at the best, wasn't it, that strike? But Truro have looked their most dangerous when they've isolated one of the defenders of Southend United, but mostly Ben Goodliff if they've had that opportunity. But they're cancelling each other out at the moment, both sides.
Well, following a slip from Hussein, Truro working their way forward, and Raquel Pike winning a foul off of Coker as he headed the ball into the path of his fellow attackers for Truro. So a free kick for the Tinners, left side of the centre circle inside Southend's half. Oh, there will be an update from Braintree short. Let's just see what Truro can do from this set piece as they line it up. The defenders have gone forward for this one, the likes of Sam Sanders and Will Dean. Especially from left to right. Oxlade-Chamberlain getting a header into the penalty area, but Goodliff nudging the ball into the ground to get it away from Sanders, who in the process has fouled Hussein. It will be a free kick for Southend inside their penalty area. So let's take that journey over to Cressing Road again. Braintree Town taking on Yeovil. Angus Patterson watching this one.
Braintree 0, Yeovil 0. Braintree with a free kick, and the ball comes over towards the far post. Lewis Walker heads to the cross. It's chaos in the 6-yard box. Yeovil just about scramble it clear, and that's the most action we've seen for quite a while, Warren, in this one. There's been a little bit of a stalemate as of yet. Lewis Walker's looked the biggest threat for Braintree. Ball goes in again towards Aidan Francis-Clark, and Jed Ward, the Yeovil goalkeeper, comes out to claim it. Good goalkeeping there from the visiting keeper. But currently, Braintree 0, Yeovil 0 here at Cressing Road. Just starting to light up here at the end of the first half, Warren.
Well, a very good time to go over to Braintree indeed. Haven't missed anything here in Truro. Still 0-0. Johnson Fisher had a chance to run at Goodliff again, but this time the Southend defender had the better of him. Both sides have conceded a foul in the last couple of minutes.
Just looking at Joe Gubbins' position when that ball's played forward, it was always a fight ball. Blues were never in good possession of that. Joe Gubbins doesn't need to be coming forward, and he was still coming forward when that ball was played in that channel. So consequently, what it does, it invites that space for Johnson Fisher to run into, and that's when Goodliff gets isolated. Joe Gubbins just got to be careful of his positional play.
A Truro City player, looks like Yassine Nea, has received a yellow card for dissent against the referee. He picked up the ball in Truro's left wing on the far side. He'd gone down under pressure from Taylor. The referee says free kick went Southend's way, and Nea has protested against that and picked up a yellow card for his troubles. Second Truro player to go into the book after Zach Bell. 3 minutes of normal time left in this first half. Goalless between the Tinners and the Blues. And Dengan to launch this one for Southend. Hopper gets a head onto it, and Dallas will get there, hugging that right wing. That's it back into Scott Morris. Takes a couple of twists and turns here in Truro. Lifted over the top for Hussein, who'd made a advancing run. He nudged it to Dallas, but again he's a step behind, and the ball bobbles over the byline. It will be a goal kick for Truro. I said this a couple of weeks ago, Glenn, when we talked about all those chances that Southend had against Gateshead, and I thought they were just being a bit too clever with some of the ones that they probably should have taken. I think that's another example of it.
Well, I just think it's just a poor pass, to be perfectly honest. I mean, they're just making some poor decisions, but I think again it comes through the fact that they're struggling to find space. They're just being denied that space by Truro. They're not getting their head up particularly quick. They're not moving the ball particularly quickly, and they're under pressure a lot of the time. And you have to say, fair play to John Askey. He's set his side up to frustrate Southend, and they're doing it in this opening 45.
Yeah, John Askew helped Truro win promotion in a hotly contested National League South title race last season. Has won promotion from the National League before at Macclesfield in 2018 and helped York City win promotion out via the playoffs out of National League North 3 years ago. So knows how to get the most out of sides, but he said earlier this week that his side have got a lot to learn and they need to adapt quickly to the step up to the 5th tier. Meanwhile, Johnson Fisher is on the ball for Truro, left side of the penalty area as it went over Austin's head. He's taken a slip in the penalty area. But Johnson Fisher still moving forward. It took a couple of deflections off the Southend players. Scott Morris last to touch it. So it will be a corner kick for Truro. More slips for Southend and a big opportunity for Truro.
Yeah, there certainly seems to be some panic in that defence when Johnson Fisher and Raquel Pike get the ball and they're in possession, certainly in that final third, and they're running the Blues. There's players slipping over, there's some desperate defending, they're hacking the ball clear, and there's no method in it, and there was a ricochet on that one. Thankfully it only went out for a corner. It could have easily gone towards Collins' goal.
Leah Akasani standing over the corner kick on the left corner on the far side. It will be right footed and swing towards the goal. We're into the last minute of normal time. Plays it low, aiming for Dean to go in at the near post, but doesn't quite execute it. And it's cleared away by Austin of Southend. And Ryan Law, the last man back for Truro. Lofting it forward only as far as Southend Scott Morris, who heads it into the path of Ndeng and D.
There's your communication. You could hear Colin loud and clear then.
We would come back to it.
Yeah. I mean, but he's a young goalkeeper and he's getting experience, and those sorts of things. And communication is one of the most difficult things to give somebody. If you're not loud and full of chat, then it's very difficult to give you. But you have to do it as a goalkeeper, and I think Colin is certainly getting better.
Raquel Pike collects the ball for Truro inside Southend's edge at half of the centre circle, finding Hassani on the right. Bell's made an overlapping run. 20 seconds of normal time left in this first half. We'll find out shortly how much stoppage time we're going to have. Truro trying to create a little triangle down that right. Comes up with Boys of Southend in the end. There'll be a long throw in for the Tinners on their right wing on this near side. And we'll see shortly how much added time we're going to get. That's the fact that Brentford have doubled their lead over Aston Villa back in West London. Oxlade-Chamberlain, brother of Alex, who started his career in North London with Arsenal, with the ball in his hands for this long throw-in. So plenty of room around the pitch to line it up into that near post. There is a header and it goes to the far post, and it is Ndeng and D who has to get there first before Rooney. And a bit of a nervy moment for Southend to finish what has been a frustrating first half in Cornwall. Truro City 0, Southend United 0. First big chance coming after 5 minutes from a set piece for Southend. Boys' corner met by Scott Morris, who headed at the near post, but it was cleared off the line by a Tinners defender. 3 minutes later we saw Truro on the counter-attack through one of the most lively players, Dominic Johnson Fisher, who put it from right to left, and Ryan Law trying to line it up for his first goal. Who had lost previously with Yeovil against Southend back in 2 years ago. Saw the glory and the headlines in front of him, but had his shot deflected away. And since then, Truro have set up to frustrate Southend, get them to long balls, trying to be clever in their passing, thread balls through the eye of the needle, and they have not been able to do that. So half time, Truro City 0, Southend United 0, and Glenn, it has been always, as we say, all about the shape that Truro have had. It's limited what Southend have been able to do today.
Yeah, I think, looking at it and objectively, Truro City have done a fantastic job, and I'm sure it's the job that's been asked by John Askey, that they're always a threat with the two lads up front, because they've got pace, they've got athleticism, and they're putting Blues under pressure. They're doing their gameplay, they're splitting the centre half, they're not allowing Harry Taylor and Joe Gubbins to have the ball. If they're going to allow anybody to have the ball, it's going to be Ben Goodliff, and his distribution hasn't been great this afternoon, and Blues have been frustrated right the way through. And I will tell you, not only is it frustrating, it's unexciting. I looked at our stopwatch going at 30 minutes. There wasn't a noise in the ground, because I don't know how many are here today, but we know there's over 700 Southend United fans. There's probably at least 2,500 to 3,000, I would have thought, something like that, of Truro City fans, and for want of a better phrase, you could hear a pin drop, because it's not exciting, it's not getting people off their seats. It's a frustrating game, and it's frustrating for the supporters, and something needs to change, because otherwise it's just gonna end up a stalemate, and it might be a lucky goal, it might be a worldie from a free kick or something like that. Blues have looked the most dangerous from set plays, we know that. Gus Scott Morris obviously had the best of the chances when he just headed the ball goalwards forwards and it got cleared off the line. But other than that, you know, Blues have struggled to break Truro down. You have to give Truro City credit, and they do look a threat on the break. Lots of work to do for Kevin Mayer and his side.
Glenn Pennyfather, thank you very much. We'll be back here in Cornwall, where Cornish wrestling is one of the most popular sports actually here, starting in the Middle Ages, and that's what we've seen, a bit of a wrestling match, tough to watch at times in the Cornish Hills. Truro City 0, Southend United 0 at half-time. Let's head back over to Essex in League 2, where Colchester United taking on Barrow. Last time we were there, they were Barrow leading 1-0. Let's join your commentary team as David Gregory and Neil Kelly.
Yellow card, but nothing more than that, as you join us on all frequencies on BBC Essex. And none of the goals, as far as I'm aware, in any of our featured games. In commentary, Truro City 0, Southend United 0, and where we're getting updates from Cressing Road, Braintree goalless against Yeovil, but we've had a goal in this one. Colchester United 0, Barrow 1. That goal coming on 10 minutes. Bark Hazen's cross, Jack Earing with the header, great save from Macy. Earing was the first to respond, put Barrow in front. Since then, Colchester United have all the chances. Reid has gone close twice. Samson Tavide tested the keeper at his near post when he ought to have passed. To Jack Payne. And then Payne himself, 10 minutes to go to half-time, did everything right, burst into the penalty area, but couldn't keep his shot down. Frustrating David Gregory that at half-time they used Gwyn trailing.
Yeah, frustrating, but there's plenty of positive signs that in the second half we can do things that we need to do to move Barrow around and get in behind them and cause problems for them. 10 minutes before half time, I hear Danny shouting better quality in the final third. That for me is probably the biggest sentence and the biggest improvement we need in the second half.
Better quality in the final third. That's what we want to see from Colchester United if they're going to get back into this game. Their play between the two penalty boxes has warranted them being on level terms or even leading. But the scoreline, and that's the thing that matters, at the break, at the JobServe Community Stadium, Colchester United 0, Barrow 1.
BBC Essex.
Modern life is busy. You might be cooking dinner, mowing the lawn, or taking the kids to school. So to make things a bit easier, you can now send a message to BBC Essex on most smart speakers. Just ask BBC Sounds to send a comment.
Hi Sonia, it's Jodie. Thanks for the A12 update. I'm just getting ready for work and I reckon the mystery song is Better the Devil You Know by Kylie.
If you're listening to BBC Essex on a smart speaker, ask BBC Sounds to send a comment.
BBC Essex.
Victoria Polly.
BBC Essex Sport.
That's the new way you can send a comment to us here on BBC Essex Sport. You might want to text 81333 or you could WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your message with the word Essex. Colchester United trailing by a goal to nil at the break, I should say, against Barrow in League 2. Goalless between Southend United at Truro in the National League, and goalless as well at Cressing Road for Braintree Town against Yeovil. Angus Patterson.
Yeah, Braintree 0, Yeovil 0, but a fairly entertaining first half. Yeovil's biggest threat has been their right back, 19-year-old Byron Pendleton, on loan from Birmingham City, and they've got another young Birmingham City loanee on their bench, Ben Wodsku, who scored in their win at Brackley Town last time out, so Braintree will have to look out for him. Lewis Walker's had a couple of chances, and in fact probably the best chance of the half fell to Lewis Walker, brilliantly put through by Fletcher Hubbard on the right of the 6-yard box, and chose to open up his body and try and go with his left foot, and the shot just always was rising and rose above the corner of post and bar. Jed Ward, a very solid goalkeeper at this level, you feel is going to be difficult to beat for Braintree, but they do have some options on the bench as well, the likes of Freddie Hockey and Kamara who can come on. So an entertaining second half we hope to come. Currently Braintree 0, Yeovil 0 at half time.
So no goals for our sides in the National League yet. Also following action in the FA Vars, Great Wakering Rovers of the Essex Senior League up against Wivenhoe Town of the Thurlow Nunn Division 1 North. Couple of goals so far for Wakering in this one, and are they good value for their lead, April Smith?
Yeah, pretty dominant performance all round Victoria for Wakering this afternoon. First chance came within a minute of kicking off from Telenola. A looping ball across from 25 yards out from the right-hand side, a throw from Bradley Rowland. Telenola just unmarked at the back post, and then it got more and more from there, really. Telenola just causing all sorts of trouble up front. Wivenhoe, they've got their chances, half chance created by Galifont and Gabe Kerr on the right-hand side. But that hard work was undone with another goal right on the strike at half-time. Again, Telenola finished into an empty net, but the original hit came from Harry Talbot about 35 yards out. Keeper came out for it, missed it, and then he was there just to sweep up. So pretty much expected more of the same, but a big uphill struggle, I think, in the second half for Wivenhoe.
April Smith, thank you very much. Our BBC Essex summariser out and about watching some FA Vars action for us. So we'll have full-time details of that one as well. The rest of the half-times are on the way for you here locally. Let's just go through how things are looking nationally. Earlier in the Premier League, it finished Manchester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Half-time scores at Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0. They're deep into stoppage time at the end of the first half between Brentford and Aston Villa, with Brentford leading by 1-0, goalless between Burnley and Sunderland, with Arsenal against Leeds, the 5:30 kickoff. Full times earlier from the Championship: Charlton 0, Leicester 1, Hull 0, Blackburn Rovers 3, and Swansea City 1, Watford 1. Half-time scores: Birmingham 1, Oxford United 0, Coventry City 5, QPR 0, Norwich 0, Middlesbrough 2, Preston 1, Ipswich 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Millwall 1, and Southampton against Stoke is goalless, West Brom 1, Portsmouth 0, and Wrexham 2, struggling Sheffield Wednesday 0. In League One, earlier it finished Luton 0, Cardiff City 1, Rotherham United 2, Wigan 2. There was a late equaliser in that one for Wigan through Paul Mullen. The scores at half-time: Wimbledon 1, Barnsley 0, Bolton 0, Lincoln 1, Huddersfield against Stevenage is goalless, Mansfield Town 2, Leyton Orient 1, Northampton Town 2, Exeter 0, Peterborough against Bradford is goalless, as is Plymouth against Blackpool, and Port Vale against Doncaster. Stockport County 0, Burton Albion 1, Stockport also down to 10 men, and Wickham 1, Reading 2. In League 2, earlier it finished Newport County 1, MK Dons 2, and Walsall 1, Salford 0. Half-time scores: Accrington 0, Grimsby 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge United 0, Cheltenham 0, Barnet 0. You know about Colchester United 0, Barrow 1. Crawley against Tranmere is goalless. Fleetwood 1, Oldham Athletic 1, Gillingham against Crewe is goalless. Harrogate 0, Chesterfield 1, and Notts County 2, Bromley 1, Swindon 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. National League, the full time from earlier, and I think the football gods were smiling on Morecambe today. A 90th minute winner, Morecambe 2, Altrincham 1. Half-time scores: Brackley Town 1, Rochdale 0. You've heard about Braintree Town 0, Yeovil Town 0. Eastleigh against Boston is goalless. Gateshead 1, Tamworth 0. Halifax 1, Forest Green Rovers 1. Hartlepool 2, Woking 0. Solihull Moors 0, Aldershot Town 2. Sutton United 1, Scunthorpe 1. You've heard about Southend United being goalless at Truro, and Wealdstone against Carlisle is the 5:30 kickoff this evening. Let me round up the rest of the half-time scores for you. In the National South, it's Chelmsford City goalless against Chippenham Town. FA Trophy preliminary round, Grays Athletic 2-0 up against Brantham Athletic. Brightlingsea Regent leading Barton Rovers by 2-0, and it's Haybridge Swifts 1, Wroxham 0. Isthmian Premier goalless between Averley and Chatham. Billericay Town 0, Cray Wanderers 0. Brentwood Town 1, Burgess Hill Town 1. Cheshunt 3, United 0. And Dulwich Hamlet against Canvey Island is goalless so far. Isthmian North, Concord Rangers against Waltham Abbey is goalless, as is Felixstowe, Walton United against Bowers and Pitsea. Redbridge 1, Stanway Rovers 2. Takeley against Maldon and Tiptree goalless, as is Tilbury against Lowestoft Town, and Whittam against Downham Town. So that brings you up to date with everything going on elsewhere. Have all the FA Vars full-time scores for you as well in the final hour of the programme. Also bring you up to date with what is going elsewhere in the county and for our county, including a second professional fight later on this evening for Colchester boxer Lewis Richardson. We've also got cricket to look ahead to tomorrow in the One Day Cup. Essex in their final home match of the group stages, looking to sneak into qualifying for the knockout. So we'll look ahead to those later on in the programme, on air until 6 o'clock. Don't forget, with all the reaction to today's games, but we are just about ready to get back underway in our various matches here on BBC Essex Sport.
BBC Essex Sport.
Afternoon to you from Victoria Polly on BBC Essex Sport. Goals have been hard to come by for us in our featured matches. Unfortunately for Colchester United, one's come against them.
Barkhazen gets to the goal line, pulls it back, great save by Mercy, but it's gone by Macy, but it's gone in anyway. Earing with the header. He scored for Walsall against Colchester United last season. He's repeated the act this time round. Macy with the initial save, but couldn't deny Earing. Colchester United 0, Barrow 1. On to Awura Edwards. Edwards to Reid. Reid through the middle. Tavidi onside. Inside the penalty area. Goes for goal. When maybe Jack Payne was the better option. Keeper Stanway brings off a near post save.
An early goal for the visitors, but the U's pushing for that equaliser. What can they do in the second half? What changes will head coach Danny Cowley look to make? Commentary to come of the second half on 103.5 FM and Freeview 716. As for Southend United, the long trip to Truro, and they're goalless at the break.
Boys whipping this in. It's for Scott Morris's head, and it's taken off the line by Bell with his foot. It was aimed at that bottom right corner. Excellent climb from Scott Morris. Well, one man who is moving fast is Truro City's Dominic Fisher, who's got past Goodliff right side of the penalty area, looks to put it across, man onto it is Law with a shot, and it comes off Coker, it goes over the byline, and there's a corner kick. Scott Morris lifting it towards Hopper, he's made a clever run, takes on the chest, into the penalty area, looks for the shot, and he can't get it away. Ball just wants to Johnson Fisher, who shot from distance, always going over the crossbar, but a third shot on goal from Truro City.
Can the Blues find a goal in the second half? They're looking to keep their unbeaten start to the National League going. Elsewhere in that division, Braintree Town at home to Yeovil. Goalless at the break, but it's been an entertaining one so far.
Lewis Walker misses the target. It was put through beautifully by Fletcher Hubbard, made the run, stayed onside, and Jed Ward was beaten. But Lewis Walker's shot rises high and wide above the corner of post and bar to the left of the goal. Braintree with a free kick, and the ball comes over towards the far post. Lewis Walker heads it across. It's chaos in the 6-yard box. Yeovil just about scramble it clear, and that's the most action we've seen for quite a while, Warren, in this one. Has been a little bit of a stalemate as of yet. Lewis Walker's looked the biggest threat for Braintree. Ball goes in again towards Aidan Francis-Clark, and Jed Ward, the Yeovil goalkeeper, comes out to claim it. Good goalkeeping there from the visiting keeper. But currently Braintree 0, Yeovil 0 here at Cressing Road.
So we're hoping for more goals in the right nets in the second half. Time to choose your match here on BBC Essex Sport. Just about to get underway at Truro. Southend United commentary for you, 95.3 FM, DAB and the BBC Sport website and app. You can listen to updates here on BBC Essex from Cressing Road, Braintree Town taking on Yeovil. There's also commentary on the BBC Sport website and app from our BBC colleagues. And we'll be back on 103.5 FM and Freeview 716 for Colchester United and Barrow in League 2 in the second half. You're listening to BBC Essex and it's 4:01.
BBC Essex Sport.
Yes, welcome back to the southernmost city in the UK, Truro, just over 30 miles away from Land's End. We're just having a look at this. Roger Taylor, the drummer for Queen, was actually brought up in Truro. And it hasn't really been a case of Killer Queen from Southend United as they have been in their last couple of games. But Truro City saying there to them, we will rock you, and that's what they've done. They've been dragging them out of shape and really putting pressure on them and limiting Southend to long passes through the field, and only one really good chance for them after 5 minutes. Scott Morris's header from a corner kick cleared off the line. and Truro have had a couple of shots on goal themselves. The players have come out, Southend in their full yellow kits with the blue sleeves, yellow shorts and blue socks. Truro with the red and black striped shirts, black shorts and red socks. Southend left to right, Truro City right to left. Glenn Pennyfather, former Southend United midfielder, watching this one with me, and we were discussing at half time, it's that unknown entity, isn't it? What goes on in that dressing room, what Kevin Mayer's saying, but I'm very curious with your managerial past, what you would be doing in this scenario, in a scenario where this team, who haven't, the only team in National League who haven't scored yet, after there's now 3.5 games, are frustrating you.
Yeah, I mean, for a side who's purportedly going for promotion this year, I mean, in the likes of Southend United, Truro City at the moment, who haven't scored a goal, just come up from the National League South, and credit to them, they look far too comfortable for me. So you have to change something. Now, whether that's changing personnel to affect the game, or you change your shape to affect the game, I think something has got to change. Now, it hasn't changed as yet, because we can see because they've just started, but whether a 4-3-3 is an option, that would certainly mix it up and ask a lot more questions of Truro.
Scott Morris into Dallas. I'll run through the Southend team. And Dengandy in goal, a back three of Taylor, Goodliff the captain, and Gubbins. Scott Morris on the right wing back, Boys on the left wing back, Houston in front of the defence, Austin and Coker in front of him, with the front two of Dallas and Hopper for Truro. Lavercombe in the goal, back three of Oxlade, Chamberlain, Dean and Sanders. Right wing back is Bell, left wing back is Law. Hassani and Anaya have Rooney behind them, and it's Johnson, Fisher and Pike, the attacking duo. Well, Southend have had 2 throws. They've worked their way up Truro's half. A cross is whipped in by Scott Morris, but it's too much for the Southend players to get their head onto as it goes over the byline. Will be a goal kick for Truro, as I say, playing from right to left. Dan Lavercombe wearing all green, playing from right to left. Colin and Dengandy in grey.
Yeah, poor ball in, wasn't it, by Gus Scott Morris, who had plenty of space, didn't he? I mean, he's whipped a couple of good balls in the first half, which unfortunately Blues couldn't get on the end of that on that occasion. Over the top of everybody and out for a goal kick.
And you can tell for the chance the goalkeepers will have to deal with opposition fans behind them. Throw in for, and foul goes against Truro City against Zach Bell on Hussein, just a little bit behind the ball as Hussein was able to distribute it. Bell on a yellow card, one of 2 players in the book of Sam Mulhall, the referee. First time for him refereeing Truro. It's his first National League game of the season, and he's having a word with the Welshman now.
Yeah, interesting to see. Once that ball broke, it broke to Noor Hussein, who put the ball in the channel. There's lots of space in the channel, but as he's played the ball, you've got Andrew Dallas and Top Hopper both coming towards the ball. I hope they've spoken to each other at half time. If one's coming towards, the second striker should be spinning behind into that space, and there was a lot of space in it. It was a decent ball. I know it's been pulled back for the free kick, but the strikers have got to be doing the right things.
Well, just having a look on the sidelines as well here, Glenn. Doesn't seem like there's any indications of early changes. The players all on the bench at the moment. Wayne Andrews been putting the subs through their paces as well. But none of them are out warming up early or anything like that. So it'll be as it is with that 3-5-2 setup. The throw in from Truro finds way to Southend's Gubbins. Hopper into Dallas, and now he's managed to turn and find Coker. Scott Morris with space on this right side. Southend on the attack. Scott Morris shooting, but it always spinning away from goal from distance, and it will be a goal kick. But a second shot of the game from Southend.
Yeah, I mean, he just miscued it, didn't he, Gus Scott Morris? I mean, we know from recent history, Gus Scott Morris has only got one thing in his mind when he's in that sort of position. He wants to drop his shoulder, he wants to get his strike, and he's in and around the edge of the box. Just unfortunately on this occasion he completely miscues it. It comes off the outside of his boot and ends up probably about 30 metres wide of the goal.
Scott Morris,
Can't
17 goals. No, we were 17 goals last
17
season.
17 goals, and we moan about people not buying the ticket. Well, Gus Scott Morris buys the ticket.
There was a chance for Bell following a set pick move from a goal kick for Bell to run through, but it was well tracked actually by the Southend defence. A few calls from the Truro fans around us for a foul, but he says nothing given. Either way, Truro have got a throw in on their far side.
Yeah, it was
a
bit of a coming together one, wasn't there? And that certainly wasn't a foul, and the referee knew that. He was right on it. He didn't bat eyelid, the referee.
So Oxlade Chamberlain, this will be the 4th long throw in for Truro. A long throw in, very much back in fashion in football. Inside the penalty area, Hopper climbing for it, Dallas getting onto the second header. Austin trying to put pressure on, but Truro City went back through Law. Hassani tries to bring it under control, but Boys will ensure that he hoofs it away, and it almost made its way into the hospitality tent on that far side. It will be a Truro throw in, this time inside their own half.
Yeah, you can't score from there, as they say.
Well, gave it a try. Harry Boy's last goal 2022 and a 4-2 win for Solihull Moors against Weymouth on the road. But that's not really his role, is it? He's there to sort of mirror. Obviously great when he gets the goals, but we see him doing different things. Throw in for Oxlade Chamberlain. He is going long with it. It's actually halfway through Southend's half. Sanders climbed his space for Raquel Pike to attempt a shot, but a foul has been given away by Truro in the process. Sarcastic cheers as the ball bobbles into the back of Ndengendi's net, but play had been stopped, and it will be a restart for Southend. No goals between Truro and Southend, and we're into the 51st minute at the Truro City Stadium.
Yeah, I think it's just a little tug, wasn't it, on Ben Goodliff by the Truro attacker. Referee on the spot again. Had a decent game so far. I think the referee hasn't done. Hasn't annoyed us.
This is rare stuff.
Yeah.
Still early days, Glenn.
Oh yeah, I've tempted fate there, haven't I?
You really have. It's a brave move from Glenn Pennyfather. Well, Sam Mulhall, he had 12 games in the National League last season, 63 yellow cards, 1 red, had 2 Southend United games in there. Last game was I was about to say the 2-2 draw between Forest Green Rovers and Southend, but every game was a 2-2 draw. I think it was the one in March. Anyway, Southend drifting the ball out to the right side and into Truro's half. Dallas hugging the right wing to Scott Morris, who's inside. Wanted to thread it into Dallas, but has to go back to Taylor, who's putting a much higher press on. Hussein, it's a Goodliff who's in the centre circle. Gubbins on his left. Boys in front of him, so has to lift it to Hopper, who's drifted across and tries to touch it first time into Boys, but it's read by Bell, who clears it away for Truro. In the end, it's Raquel Pike who's having a bit of a battle to keep the ball, and Kevin Mayer's out of his seat because Hussein went in to get onto a loose ball from Raquel Pike, who some would say jumped in for that one. Kevin Mayer certainly thought so, and he thinks the referee should have said something, Glenn.
Did you know what? I thought it was a ball there to be won. The lad from Truro went in to win it. Noor has tried to lift it over him. He's tried to be cute with it, and the boys won the ball and gone through Noor. To be honest, I didn't think there was a lot wrong with that. Noor goes to ground and goes to win the ball, then he might have come out with it the other side. It was just a little bit more of a determination, should we say, from the Truro player on that occasion.
Another stoppage. We look for a ball. Fourth official, James Hooper. It's onto that one. And there's enough space around the pitch, because I would have thought they'd find one somewhere, but
that's the trouble. There's too much space, isn't it? I imagine they lose.
They get lost.
They lose a huge amount of balls around here.
I mean, there's lots of hills as well, so poor boys will be doing lots of miles. Meanwhile, there's another long throw-in for Truro in this second half. This is the third one now in the first 7 minutes of this second half. Also, Chamberlain midway through Southend's half of the pitch on the far side. He'll launch it again, aiming for the head of Sanders. It's a bit messy, but Hopper keeps his composure to clear it away, only as far as Oxlade Chamberlain, but Boy's able to get a touch for it first for Southend, and maybe that was a chance to counter there. I mean, he decides to get a step back, and Gubbins launch it forward. Yeah, he had 3 players ahead of him, but they were all cut off. Good lift, pushing it towards Hopper. Came off his back from Sanders, and it goes up for another throw.
It's just so scrappy, isn't it? Blues just can't get a foothold in the game to get their passing game going, and even that ball there, everything's a fight ball having to be thrown up to Hopper and Dallas, and it's the deliveries up to them are, as I say, a real fight balls, and they're finding it very, very difficult to get themselves into the game.
Maybe a bit something to work here. Johnson Fisher with the ball inside the penalty area, but has it taken off him by Goodliff, and Hussein has to go a long way round Bell in order to work some space, and Austin and Goodliff ensure it's cleared away. Dallas does well to stay on his feet inside his own half and on the halfway line. Now Scott Morris on the right, still 0-0 in Cornwall. Hopper ahead of him. Here's Taylor. Scott Morris still ahead of the right centre back. A little deflection off a Truro man, takes a spin, but Hussein decides safety is best, and back to Ndengendi.
Just thought Tom Hopper could have just held his run, ducked in behind him rather than fighting across the front, because the player can see, the centre half can see him and the ball right the way across that run. Just held his run up a little bit and ducked in behind him. Now the player's got a problem. Does he look at Tom Hopper? Does he look at the ball? But at least he would have caused him a few more problems than he actually did.
Taylor gets his head up. He wanted a run from Hopping. Thought he was going to get one, but he saw he was in an offside position. Johnson Fisher's put an elbow into Taylor as he climbed to take a high ball from his left back Law. Taylor holding his nose at the moment, and Campbell Hall standing over him. Johnson Fisher contesting for the ball as it was high down that left wing, and Taylor's on his haunches now, and now John Gowans comes out onto the pitch to take a look, but looks like he's just... Sky might have got a little bit dizzy at that time.
That's exactly the same as what I said. You remember when I said Noor Hussein played that ball and they're both coming forward? That's what happened again there. Harry Taylor, there's loads of space in that channel. You see that space in the channel, Warren. Harry Taylor's played the ball in just before he got hit. Both players got caught coming towards the ball again. Andrew Dallas and Topov are doing the same thing.
So for this, Johnson Fisher has picked up a yellow card, the third yellow card for Truro this afternoon, and Taylor is off the pitch on this near side with John Gowans, just because it was an injury to the head. Just has to make sure that he's okay to continue.
30 seconds still, is it?
I think so. So it starts off with a free kick for Southend, just inside their own half on their right wing, in the channel, this near side. There'll be Scott Morris to put this one forward. Goodlift's gone up, as is Gubbins. Gubbins is back. There's only 10 men on the pitch for them right now as Taylor waits. Scott Morris gets the call from the referee to be allowed to take his free kick, aimed from right to left. You only find Truro's Bell.
Yeah, I don't know what...
Hussein takes it under control and decides again to go back to the keeper. Safest place to be. There'll be frustration from the Southend fans to my right as we wait for Taylor to be allowed to come back in. Scott Morris again out to that left side. Goodlift has stayed up, got a head onto it against Oxlade Chamberlain. The ball goes over the byline. It is a corner kick, and Taylor's allowed back on, and a good time for him to come on. Third corner kick of the game for Southend. It'll be from their left wing on the far side.
Yeah, it was a better ball on that occasion from Gus Scott Morris, because the free kick, I don't know what anybody would have done with that, even if they'd have headed it. It was so far wide. I mean, he completely miscued the free kick, and in the end it gets recycled and he has another opportunity to put it in. It's a decent ball. Ben Goodlift challenging him for it, and it eventually goes out for this corner. This is where Blues have looked most likely to break the deadlock.
There'll be Ollie Coker with his right foot. It will swing towards the goal. A couple of substitutes warming up to his left, to his right I should say, Charlie Kendall and Slavi Sparzov.
Yeah, I think with the amount of time what we got coming up to 60 minutes, not far off 60 minutes gone, makes sense.
So referee has just gone over to John Askey, the manager of Truro, and I think he's had a yellow card. He's said something to the lines and the fourth official.
I think it was something to do with the corner. He didn't feel it was a corner off Ben Goodlift, but sometimes you've seen this in football where possibly you don't think it's a corner and suddenly the opposition get the goal.
So corner kick to come for Southend, still goalless. Just across the area, aimed for Goodlift, but foul against Southend anyway inside the penalty area, so the opportunity goes to waste, and it's a free kick for Truro again.
Yeah, and when I tempted fate with the referee, there's the referee giving a free kick, which was a soft free kick because John Askey had a go at him about the corner. Yellow card, John Askey. Human nature. Oh, I'll give you something back now, and that's what he's done. It's a soft free kick. Didn't look like a push to me, but he's given it, and they get the chance to clear the ball.
Leon Parallon and James Morton have joined Kendall and Sparzov in warming up. From the goal kick from Truro, Goodlift wins it thunderously, but Southend not able to build from it. And Raquel Pike draws the ire of the referee for challenging against Gubbins too much, and a foul goes against Truro. They're 8th of the game and 2nd of this half.
Yeah, we've not really seen a lot of Harry Boyes this afternoon, have we? We haven't seen that combination we see at the Gateshead game with him and
Austin
and Sam Austin. We just
haven't seen much of Austin
haven't
today.
Seen any of that really. We've seen a little bit more of Gus Scott Morris. We haven't seen Harry Taylor be able to get down this right hand side, which we normally see him do, and get an overload. It's been
Goodlift and Dangandy exchanging a couple of passes inside their own half, just beyond the penalty area, and Dangandy's probably the most touches I've seen from him in a game during my time with BBC Essex. The ball goes high towards Scott Morris on the right. Dallas will be first to it as it's headed away by Truro's Law. We're on the right side of Truro's penalty area. Now hugging the right wing. Dallas has Taylor. Threads it into Coco, had support from Boyes. Taylor trying to take it off of Johnson Fisher, which he's able to, but then Boyes' attempted helps Truro out, and Johnson Fisher can't release it though to Hassani. And Goodliffe ends up putting it all the way back to Ndengendi, and it's a comedy of errors, really.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was good from Andrew Dallas, though. That long ball played. It's something obviously Blues have worked on into Gus Scott Morris's long run. He doesn't win the first header, but Blues pick up the second ball in the final third. That was better.
Goodliffe has spotted a run from Hopper, but is unable to find him as Law for Truro intercepts the pass. Coker gives away a foul out of frustration on Dan Rooney, dragging him to ground. So
just
first one given away.
Looks slightly off the pace. It's understandable. He hasn't had a lot of minutes this year, but he does look slightly off the pace this afternoon, and I think we're going to see those changes. Certainly Charlie Kendall getting ready on that far side. Looks like...
Oh yeah, Sparzov as well.
Yeah, Sparzov is getting ready, and there's one other. I think there's three getting ready.
Morton.
James Morton as well.
Well, plenty of change to come for Southend. Meanwhile, the free kick from Truro from left to right, aimed towards Raquel Pike. Hopper and Gus St Morris and Hussein try to get it away. Taylor done to Austin as well. And then eventually Boys clears it. It comes off the back of Zach Bell, and it will be a throw-in for Southend, in line with their own penalty area on the far side. Play left to right, and well, they tried everything to get the ball out there and just couldn't find a way to get themselves moving at pace.
It was scruffy clearances, wasn't it? You know, not getting any height, distance, anything on them. Very miscuing their clearances, and it allowed Truro to keep the ball alive in that final third.
Now, when the ball went out for a throw-in for Southend inside Truro's half, Mayer immediately popping out to Dallas. Obviously, he wants them to get a bit more pace, an injection of it back into their play.
Darren Curry did as well. Darren Curry got the ball out, looking to quicken up the tempo, and Blue slowed it down again.
They've moved it from left to right. Taylor and Scott Morris combining, the right centre back on it now. Back to Scott Morris. Room for a cross. Aimed into the middle. There's a header, and it's in! Well, there's an offside flag goes up against them. Mark Senior ensures that the celebrations of those 700 or so Southend fans come to a stop. It was Dallas that had got onto the cross from Scott Morris. Perfect placement with it. And as it guided into the bottom left corner, the Southend hands went up, but immediately they would look over to the assistant Mark Senior, who had his ominous flag up, and it remains Truro City 0, Southend United 0.
Yeah, it went up straight away. Warren, I was watching the official as the ball got whipped in by Gus Scott Morris. It was a great ball, it was a decent run, good header, a good goal, but offside. It was straight up. It wasn't any hesitation from the assistant referee.
Well, meanwhile, from built from the back, Truro, Southend have managed to get it back. And Scott Morris moving it towards Dallas on that right wing, who we can say has hit the back of the net for Southend, but was ruled out for offside. Cuts inside, now into the penalty area again. He's put it to Scott Morris. There's a couple of deflections, and there is a goal this time. A look over to the official. The flag doesn't go up, and the man wheeling away is Sam Austin. A bit of pinball in the penalty area, but Sam Austin's accuracy awesome in there, and he buries it into the roof of the net in front of those jubilant Southend fans, who can now sing in the Cornish sunshine because they have the lead just after the hour. Truro City 0, Southend United 1.
Yeah, full credit to Andrew Dallas down this right hand side. At last the ball fell to Blues in the penalty area. Andrew Dallas done so well. He dropped his shoulder, he stood the boy up on the edge of the box, slowed the defender down, and then quickened up again, went past him just inside the penalty area on the right hand side, pulled the ball back to Gus Scott Morris, who I'm not quite sure if he mishit the shot or he did catch it cleanly, but it ricocheted in and around the 6-yard box, and it was Sam Austin who was the first to react to the ball to slam it into the roof of the net to give Blues the lead. They have had one or two opportunities from crosses in this game where balls just haven't fallen from. They've got them into decent positions, but they'll take that all day long to give them the lead.
Well, Sam Austin had become a bit of a ghost in that first half, hadn't he, for Southend United? We hadn't mentioned his name a lot, but the thing about ghosts is that they can certainly haunt you, and that's exactly what he's done to Truro City here, giving Southend United the lead with only their third shot on goal in the game.
Yeah, we're still going to see the triple change. Is that Leon Parallon as well?
So we've got
somebody's hiding behind the assistant.
There's a couple. I see Leon Parallon.
Yeah, it's Charlie Kendall.
Charlie Kendall. I think it's James Morton. So
yeah,
three changes to come for Southend. First one is James Morton, who we're thinking way is Noor Hussein. You suspect that is with certainly Hartlepool in mind.
Well, I don't think Noor's had a rest this season, has he?
No,
he hasn't been rotated, Noor.
No. So third substitution, James Morton coming on in place of Noor Hussein. Second substitution is Hopper off in place of Charlie Kendall. And Hopper gives an applause to the Southend fans. A lot of work once again from him, but maybe just not in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, service wasn't great to him today. I mean, let's not get away from that fact. Blues have taken the lead, but the service, the actual game itself, hasn't been great. Certainly from a forwards point of view, they've been shackled really well. And
as you suspected, Ollie Coker coming off for Leon Parallon.
Yeah, he needs minutes, doesn't he, Ollie? He needs to be playing some football. It would have done him the world of good to get those sort of 70 minutes or so into his legs, or 65 minutes, sorry, into his legs. So good to see Leon Parallon. We haven't seen him for a while, Warren, so it's good to see Leon.
Well, a 7th goal in 4 games conceded by Truro City, and their first ever National League campaign. This one against Southend United's Sam Austin. 2 goals in 4 appearances for him.
A lot of football still to be played in this. A lot of work to do for Southend United. They've got the lead. What they can't do now is relax in any way, any manner. They've got to make sure they're focused and they're fully concentrated on their jobs, as Truro City have been for the vast majority of this game.
Just to talk you through where the substitutes have slotted in. So it's basically been like for like changes. But Truro City's Oxlade-Chamberlain has come in, stolen the ball off Southend. He tried to thread it into Johnson Fisher. Good lift there to take it off. In Morton's first touch, he's been put under pressure by Enea. Foul conceded by the Truro City man. Free kick to Southend in the hull. I'll just talk through those changes. Morton slots in for Hussein in front of the defence. Parallon is left of him alongside Austin, and Kendall is like for like up top against Hopper.
Yeah, there's that reading of the game again from Ben Goodliff. You know, he's again Harry Taylor. You have to give them credit as well. Harry Taylor and Joe Gubbins, making sure their distances are good. There's not that space to thread the ball in, and all you do is look at possession and you make sure you anticipate where the ball's going, and he's done that perfectly to intercept the ball again, Ben Goodliff.
From the free kick, Southend tried to create something on the left, but it's eventually cleared away by Sam Sanders. Johnson Fisher chasing the long clearance down, but put under pressure by Taylor, and Southend's Goodliff once again reading the game, Glenn, and once again there.
Yeah, good work as well by Harry Taylor. He made sure he chased the lad Johnson Fisher down, didn't allow him a free run into this left-hand channel. He's tried to chop the ball back inside Johnson Fisher. Harry Taylor's actually kind of half slipped over, and it's Ben Goodliff has come in with the challenge, as we see some changes coming up for Truro.
A triple change for the hosts as well. So first change will be Nirak Hassani coming off, and on in his place is Jack Taylor. Another change has come in as well, which is the number 9 Tyler Harvey. That's off in playing was Raquel Pike, another figure who's probably been frustrated more than anything today. And then one more change has seen Tyler Love Holmes come on for Truro, with Will Dean, the captain of Truro.
No, Zach Bell.
Was Zach Bell coming off? Yeah, he was the first player to come off the pitch. Well, Truro tried to build something here. Let's pop over to Braintree again. We've seen a goal here for Southend against Truro City, 360 miles away at Cressing Road. Angus Patterson, what's the latest?
Still no goals here, Warren. It's Braintree 0, Yeovil 0, but Braintree have been a bit more bright and a bit more enterprising and creative in this second half. Haven't been able to find that breakthrough. Lewis Walker again has had a shot saved from the right hand side of the penalty area. He's been Braintree's biggest threat, and Steve Pitt has not gone to his bench yet at all, whereas Yeovil have made 4 changes, including the young Birmingham City loanee Ben Wadsko. And I found out at half time that the young right back for Yeovil was actually on trial for Braintree earlier in the summer, went away elsewhere after the Billericay Town friendly, and has ended up with the Glovers, almost costing Braintree by hitting the crossbar in the first half. But right now, about 70 minutes gone, Braintree 0, Yeovil 0.
Yeah, Braintree had 1 point, had about 18 trialists over the summer, and Steve Pitt whittled them down. Ended the first round top of the table. 2 losses to Hartlepool and Wealdstone. Saw them drop down 11th at the moment, still in the top half, and hoping they can leapfrog Yeovil with a win today. But Southend, they were 4th coming in today, looking to put pressure on. Looking at Hartlepool as well, with leading Woking 2-0 at half time, and they're visitors on Bank Holiday Monday. They'll certainly want to make the statement here in Cornwall. Meanwhile, Truro City giving possession away inside Southend's half. Parallon wanted to thread through the midfielders into Kendall, but no way through, and Lavercombe able to throw it for Truro. Oxlade-Chamberlain into Taylor. So for Truro, let's see what the changes are, if that's changed their formation at all. It looks very much the same as it was, with Taylor Love Holmes slotted into that right wing back position where Zach Bell was. We've had Taylor coming in, Jack Taylor in for Lirak Hassani. He goes alongside Enea, and then the other change was up top with Harvey, top scorer last season in the National League South for Truro, leading the line alongside Johnson Fisher. Raquel Pike cutting a frustrated figure for the Tinners. That would be good news for Southend, who are singing away to our right.
Yeah, I mean, it gets said so often, doesn't it, in football, goals do change games, and I said it, I think, just prior to half time, the fact that it would have changed the complexion of the game if that Gus Scott Morris header would have gone in, and now it's going to change the complexion of this game. You can see Blues have kind of got a spring in their step.
Parallon has put in some sharp feet, and he's won the ball off Truro inside their final third. He's going up against Love Holmes, spreads it into Boys, space for him on that far wing on the left. Parallon gets it back, had room for the cross if he wanted to. It said Boys has a go, whips it across, comes off the chest of Truro's captain Dean, and eventually cleared away by Love Holmes. Only as far as Southend's Taylor. And here's a bit of room for Dallas. Has to turn with his back to goal and find Boys. Dallas gets it back, decides to cut back around a tackle, and a foul goes against Dan Rooney, who holds his hands to his head and puts his head into his body in frustration. I thought he was going to get a yellow card. It's just the spray for the referee, and a free kick in a dangerous area here for Southend.
Invaluable work from Harry Taylor, because that ball's been cleared, and it's been cleared. They've left the two lads up front, and it's Johnson Fisher who's trying to get to the ball, but Harry Taylor is alive. That's when you've got to be concentrated as a defender, and Paul Clark will be able to talk you through it a lot better than I would, but as a defender, that's when you're at your most concentrated. You're in possession. You've got to make sure everybody's organised, everybody's marked down, because then you recycle the ball. Exactly what Harry Taylor did on that occasion, and what it did, he played the ball straight back into the front lads, and in the end the Blues get a free kick in a dangerous area.
So Scott Morris and Boys standing over this one. 70 minutes played. Truro City 0, Southend United 1 on BBC Essex, 95.3 FM DAB and the BBC Sport website. Warren Muggleton and former Blues midfielder Glenn Pennyfather with you at the Truro City Stadium. So Scott Morris has taken a few steps back, as if he's lining up a right-footed shot. Boys standing to the right of the ball.
Don't look 10 to me.
3-man wall in front of him. Scott Morris steps up, shoots, punched away by the goalkeeper to his right into that left corner. It will go out for a corner kick. Scott Morris, it was spinning deftly into that bottom left corner, and Lan Lavercombe had to be there for Truro.
Oh, you can ask, isn't it? You hit the target. It's a decent strike by Gus Scott Morris, and it's an equally good save from Dan Lavercombe in the goal for Truro. Great save out for a corner for Blues. Looked dangerous from set plays.
This will be Harry Boys to take this one, left-footed. It will swing away from the goal from that left corner on the far side. Boys aiming for the far post where Gubbins, and Goodliff is waiting. Goodliff climbing for the header, but can't guide it inside the right upright. Bobbles to the right. There will be a goal kick for Truro City, who are lining up a substitution.
Yeah, seemed to be getting each other's way, didn't they? I mean, he was backpedaling. Joe Gubbins was coming onto it. Ben Goodliff was backing off to try and get it, and in the end, I think it was Goodliff who actually got the touch. They couldn't get any purchase on the header, and it goes tamely wide for a goal kick. But you're right, they are making another change, and it's the dangerous, I thought. Dom Johnson Fisher looks like he's going to go off.
It is Ben Starkey who will come on in his place. Ben Starkey, one of those who joined from Harborough, got an assist in the National League Cup win for Truro over Southampton 3-2. Started in the loss against Tamworth, a Tanzanian international.
Yeah, Blues will be happy to see the back of Johnson Fisher. I think both front lads, especially Johnson Fisher, looked a threat purely with their athleticism and their pace. You know, they didn't get too many opportunities to finish. However, they was always had to be dealt with by Blues, and they'll have easier afternoon, Southend United defenders.
Boys and Parallon win the ball off Truro just inside the Tinners half, and Morton read it to Scott Morris. Thought we were going to spread out to Austin, but Parallon was in the middle. Now the scorer, Austin, has it, hugging the right wing into Scott Morris. First time to Parallon, creates some space. Can't get his shot away though. All taken off his boot, but still edge of the penalty area. Falls to Morton in the middle of the Truro half. Austin on the right. Scott Morris whips it into the 6-yard box. Eventually comes off the substitute Love Holmes for Truro. And it will be another corner kick for Southend, this time from the right on this near side.
Yeah, and they've got you can see, I mean, we did speak to BBC Cornwall, didn't we? And you can see now, I mean, what are we? We're 75 minutes in, they are beginning to tire. They're not as sharp with their movements, Cornwall. I don't want to attempt too much, Truro, sorry. and they've gone a little bit ragged as well since the changes.
Boys with an in-swinger aim for Goodliff, cleared off the line again by Truro. Second time they've done that in this game. Goodliff had no competition for that one as he looked for his first goal of the season, but the Tinners clear it off their line, and now their defence is shaking.
Yeah, I mean it's another decent ball in, but it's a good header by Goodliff. But Blues have looked dangerous from set plays this afternoon. We said that in the first half. That looked to be the most likely way forward. And again, it's proved again that Truro have struggled to deal with set plays from Southend.
A throw in for the Blues as well. How's about this for comparisons, Glenn? The first half, Southend had 1 shot, 1 on target. This half they've had 3 shots, 3 on target. Just the way, just been patient as well.
The stat that counts?
The goals.
1-0.
Oh, this ball has been threaded down the left wing, but again it's Andy Dallas that's caught offside. 6th time Southend have been caught offside. Andy Dallas, again, it's just a minute, isn't it, getting back into that groove a bit.
It's just the timing of the run as well, being attracted to the ball and just spinning in that channel. It's about looking at possession. There's lots of factors that get rolled into that. It's about having that understanding from the training pitch. When that happens, I'm going to make that run in the channel, just stick it in there for me. Lots of different factors that are involved with that. It's just unfortunately it's been caught offside on that occasion, went too early.
Gubbins with a volleyed nudge forward to Kendall. Gets a touch onto it, but as he takes a slip, it's Will Dean for Truro able to come away. Gets his head up, decides to thread it down the middle. Come off the back of the head of Taylor, but first to it is Tyler Harvey of Truro. Ball hasn't gone out yet. Well, referee says that it has, and it will be a throw in for Truro.
Yeah, the assistant waved for the flag.
I wasn't sure personally.
Charlie Kendall's borrowed Gus Scott Morris's roller skates, and he's come on with the roller skates.
Well, he's got some flashy white boots on with a red bottom on them.
Yeah, they're the ones with the heels, aren't they, that the kids used to
I'll tell you what, you talk about boots, the substitute Ben Starkey, bright pink, you cannot miss those. That's highlighter yellow.
As they used to say, you've got to be a heck of a player if you're going to wear those colour boots.
Referee is just taking a pause at Christian Oxlade-Chamberlain, just resting on the sponsorship boards with a couple of fans huddled around him as if they were Antarctic penguins.
In the olden days, they'd have been handed a pint, wouldn't they?
It would, yeah. Bit of refreshment.
Yeah.
But Tyler Harvey's getting a word from referee Sam Mulhall about his positioning for this throw-in. Has some long hair, got a headband to keep it back. Oxlade-Chamberlain was throwing from the left wing on the near side. It's straight onto the head of Goodliff, and Dallas will be first to it for Southend. A couple of headers to juggle, but won't get past Oxlade-Chamberlain. Gives the foul away in the process inside Southend's half. It will be a free kick for Truro on their left wing, 5 metres away from the wing, midway through the half on this near side.
Yeah, difficult ball to deal with from Andrew Dallas. He tried to get it under control. It wasn't a ball he could actually hook. Somebody had gone on the run beyond him. I think it was Charlie Kendall gone on the run behind him, and he would have been free, but the ball just didn't sit for him to be able to hook it, and in the end he's been swamped out and gives away the free kick.
Seeing reports of a goal at Crescent Road. We'll get over there as soon as we can. Meanwhile, Truro lining up this free kick. Will Dean, the captain, standing over it. 120th appearance for him in the red and black of Truro City. Plenty of options forward, only 2 staying back. Dean aiming for the far post, but Goodliff once again heading away. Only as far as Dan Rooney. Austin for Southend trying to put pressure on it. Rooney has space for the cross. Won't quite go out for a corner as Austin attempted the clearance. It spun awkwardly, but it is eventually cleared away. Kendall trying to get it to Parallon. Morton can't clear it away. Truro doggedly fighting to get the ball back, and Dallas can't get it as it goes back to Truro, and we go back to the goalkeeper. Let's jump over to Crescent Road. Angus Patterson goal update.
It's Braintree 1, Yeovil Town 0. Warren. We've joined you as a 1-0 scoreline for one of our Essex sides as Braintree come forward once again. Lewis Walker's on the left of the area. Gets it back to the substitute Zahid Kamara, who is the goal scorer. It all started with Marley Miranda winning the ball back in midfield, chipped it over to the left-hand side. Kamara's first touch was perfect, and then he slotted it home in the bottom left-hand corner. Akinde with another shot, saved by Jed Ward, and Braintree playing much better in this second half, and they got a deserved breakthrough. Braintree 1, Yeovil Town 0.
Not good news for Colchester United, now 2-0 down to Barrow. Meanwhile, Southend on the counter-attack through Charlie Kendall, who won it inside in half and able to carry it a long way, and has won a foul off of Dan Rooney as well. Brilliant from Charlie Kendall. Glenn, just what you want to see from
this absolutely, but they're going to get more spaces now, Kendall and Andrew Dallas and Blues breaking, but they've got to be careful, they've got to be disciplined as well. Remember, it's only 1 goal up, but what's happening now, they are investing more players forward and leaving players forward as well as they try to get back in this game. Truro, and it's natural, you know that's going to come, but what it is doing is opening up more spaces up front for Blues, but they've just got to make sure they pick the right pass and make the right decision. But as I say, alongside that discipline, as Andrew Dallas is substituted.
Yeah, debut for Slavi Sparzov has been joined from Slough Town, the first signing of the summer for Southend United. Very impressive haul for him in National League South last season. For 15 goals in 40 appearances, one of them against Truro, who was back at home in West London in a 1-1 draw in November 2024. It'll be exciting to see what he can bring. Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be good to see Slavi. Not seen him play yet, so it's going to be interesting.
Southend conceded a foul inside Truro's penalty area, so
that was
free
Slavi.
kick for the home side. It wasn't.
Slavi pushing one of the defenders
Maybe
over.
some jitters. The long kick won by the head of Southend's Gubbins, and now it's Southend finding those loose balls, those second balls. They tried to find Sparzov, but muscled off it by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Ends up giving the throw-in away for the Tinners on their right wing on the far side. Great atmosphere here as well. Sun has continued to shine brightly in Cornwall as well. A few clouds rolling over the skies, and he's rolling Cornish Hills. We've got a wonderful vantage point, 33 miles or so from Land's End. Truro trying to create, but Sam Austin pushing it back. Parallon trying to bring it to ground, but Truro winning possession back inside Southend's half. Some clever feet from Starkey to create some room. It's threaded into the penalty area, but cleared away by the men in yellow Southend. A slip from Starkey as he tried to put pressure on Boys and gets a nutmeg for his troubles. And Boys able to clear, looking for Kendall.
Lovely play by Boys, wasn't it?
Cleared by the Truro defence, but only as far as Sparzov and himself and Kendall winning a foul off the Tinners and getting a free kick 5 metres away from the left wing on the far side, not far away from Kevin Mayer and Darren Curry.
Calm as you like, wasn't he, Harry Boys? I'll just have another touch, and I am last man. I've got possession of the ball, and I'm going to roll it through your legs. That's exactly what he did, and then cleared the ball up front, and Blues end up getting a free kick just inside the Truro half.
As I say, the substitution being made, it is Yassen Enneya making his way off.
Fraudulent slip from the announcer there. That's what everybody was laughing at.
On in his place will be Luke Jeffcott wearing number 15. That's the 5th substitution for the Tinners. Southend trying to play it short for Parallon on that left wing. Coming up to 8 minutes to go with normal time. Still Truro City 0, Southend United 1, and they are pushing for that second goal to get that cushion, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get the cushion. I mean, Kevin Mayer will be talking about a clean sheet. That's all the important thing. As Leon Parallon this time? Goodness no. You would get them together, wouldn't you, and make sure that they get the right footwear on. The amount of Blues players that have slipped over this afternoon is too much, to be perfectly honest. It's annoying, the fact that if he hadn't slipped over, he might well have got him behind.
Yeah, tough condition for them to deal with in that regard. Sparzov trying to win a foul off Oxlade-Chamberlain again as ball was brought down by Morton, but as the ball is eventually brought to ground, it's Gubbins is able to clear away, but in the process a foul was conceded as the Truro midfielder Dan Rooney tried to advance through the middle of the yellow wall at the moment.
Well,
free kick conceded.
He ran off Leon Parallon's shoulder. Actually, Leon Parallon was ball watching, and he ran off his shoulder. He's the one that picked up the second ball where Leon should have been favourite for that, and in the end he's burst through and he's had to be fouled, otherwise he would have made some good strides forward.
So Will Dean lining this one up once again. BBC Essex for you, but in Cornwall for Truro City in Southend United, with the Blues leading 1-0. Braintree leading Yeovil 1-0, Colchester 2-0 down at home against Barrow. Tyler Love Holmes runs away from the ball as it's played from right to left, and Gubbins has to put it over the byline. Boys chased it to try and stop it from being a corner kick, but it will be one, and that's given the home fans a bit of encouragement on this near side as Jack Taylor will line this one up with his right foot to swing towards the goal in some bright pink boots, some long dark hair. Only 2 Truro players not forward for this. The hands go up and it's towards the post. It comes off the crossbar into play, and it's eventually headed away by Boys. And Dengendy, I thought he got underneath it, but it just threatened, didn't it, from Taylor, and it bounced off the top of the crossbar and back into play. But another corner for Truro.
He meant that as well, Warren. You could see that. He definitely whipped that towards the goal. There was a big space, wasn't there, in front of Colin for him to whip into. And in the end, it was dealt with. That was a difficult ball to deal with. In the end, it was dealt with well.
Well, a bit of sweat on the brow for Southend. Take two from the corner for Truro, this time from the right on the far side. It'll swing away from the goal. Edge of the 6-yard box far side. There's a climb from Oxlade-Chamberlain, but his header cannot be guided into the top left corner. It goes beyond, and it will be a goal kick for Southend. And Taylor and Dengendy clapping and urging his players to keep their heads up, keep focused.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just keep geeing people up, and that's good defending. Although the lad, if you can't get to a ball like that, you've got to affect the boy's jump, and you've got to affect him actually getting any purchase on the ball. And Blues did that. I think it was two people jumping at him, Joe Gubbins and Ben Goodliff, because they couldn't get near Chamberlain, and in the end he can't get anything on it because they are slightly leaning into him and he's slightly off balance. So it's even though he got the header in, it was good defending.
Well, Sam Austin is making his way off the pitch to a rapturous applause from the Blues fans, to be replaced by Keenan Appiah-Forson with 5 minutes of normal time left. And well, that one moment, isn't it? We talked about, he said it at half time, it could be one moment to define a game like this, and he was there for it.
And would we have said last year that would have gone in? Would there have been a Southend United midfield player in that position to lash the ball into the roof of the net in the 6-yard box? I would suggest no. Sam Austin is that player that gets in there, he sees that opportunity.
Southend trying to keep possession inside Truro's territory. Kendall just nudging onto it, but it has to go over the top of Will Dean in order to get there. Eventually it's Law who clears it away, and now Ben Starkey trying to get away for Truro, but tracked by Ben Goodliff.
Great challenge, Ben Goodliff.
Just seems to have got better and better in this game.
Well, he was under pressure again, wasn't he? He was one-on-one. You know, the lad was going to beat him again in a foot race. But Ben Goodliff tiring of his challenge, and he's coming across with his wrong foot, to be fair. He's coming across with his left foot when it's a right-footed challenge, but the timing's perfect, and it stops the pressure, although there is this long throw going to come in from Chamberlain again from this left-hand side.
So Chamberlain, only one player not up for this one. Silence falls around us. A few players muscling themselves around, and Dengendy. So Chamberlain with his throw from the near side. There is a header. I think that was an off-target header from Taylor. It might well have been.
Colin, you don't need to run to get the ball. You're winning.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah, I mean he's running.
Just to say, the throw-in came from this left wing in line with the edge of the penalty area. Made its way to the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed by I think Luke Jeffcott. It was headed way away from goal, more towards the corner than the goal, and goal kick for Southend. No threat from that one, but it is Truro's second shot of this second half.
Yeah, I mean, they've had to deal with the long throw, haven't they, from Tamworth? They're having to deal with it again today from Oxlade-Chamberlain, and it's important. Blues have so far, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, they've dealt with that really, really well. Not just first phase, but second balls as well.
A couple of looping passes from Truro as they try to get forward, but eventually Southend win it back. Slavi Spalzov trying to put pressure on Sam Sanders, but unable to. Goodliff clears it away again, and we go full circle. Another throw-in, and again Oxlade-Chamberlain will come forward. Been a few words exchanged between Starkey and Goodliff in the middle, and Goodliff is furious, remonstrating with the referee right now.
Do you know,
these two have to be careful. Glenn, what did you say?
Ben Goodliff got tripped over. I don't think Starkey knew he'd done it. It was just a coming together of feet, and Ben went over, and I think Ben thought he'd done it deliberately. I don't think he did, to be perfectly honest. And you can see he's shrugging his shoulders that he didn't mean to do it, but Ben reacted quickly, didn't he? And the referee see it, and the referee dealt with it. Fair play to the referees, calmed everything down. Another long throw for Blues to deal with.
Still 1-0 to the Blues. Sam Mulhall again, getting his... Looks like he might be getting his card out. I'm glad he's pulled the player forward, because there's a gaggle of them, and it is Tyler Harvey who has been trying to get into the heads of the Southend defenders, and his price is the 5th yellow card for Truro of the game, and it will be Tyler Harvey that gets it. And I think it was his shot actually that went off target in the last long throw that we saw. From a similar position to which we see now, Oxlade-Chamberlain to throw it in. edge of the 6-yard box. A punch away from Ndeng with confidence. The touch is heavy from the Truro attacker, but Kapaya Force able to get there, and now Kendall, and now it might be 3-on-2 for Southend if they can get it right. Kendall stays on his feet, has to run a Parallon. Sparzov's on the left, a chance to score. He puts it across to Parallon. Can he shoot? He can't get the shot away as Truro throw themselves at the ball to stop the number 19 for Southend getting a shot, which could have been goal number 2, but not to be for Leon Parallon.
Yeah, super break, wasn't it, between Kendall, Sparzov and Leon Parallon. And Leon Parallon, what he did, he's taken the first touch with his right foot.
Well, a nervy moment as Taylor had taken a slip as a looping ball came in from Truro, but Ndeng was right there
and
to ensure he got
for it, and screaming for it, which is important.
Communication again.
Yeah, Parallon went to hit it with his right foot and just towed the ball away with his left foot as he went to strike it, and that's what looked bad in the end. But it was a great counter attack from Blues.
Groans from the Truro fans as they give possession away inside Southend's half. Morton slipping again, but no danger from Truro as they try and get the ball off of Southend, who've now got it now through Sparzov inside Truro's final third. Kendall, right side of the penalty area, makes room for the shot, but it's straight down the throat of Dan Lavacum. It is a shot on target once again for them. 5 minutes of added time to come here in Cornwall, with Truro City down at a 0-0 against Southend United. A lot of time for all the substitutes.
That's training ground for Charlie Kendall. That, as you duck in from the right hand side onto your left foot, you just bend it in that far corner. That's a training ground strike.
Roars of encouragement from the Truro fans. They urge the Tinners to get forward, but Law muscled off it by Scott Morris, who gets a pass away to Rooney. Has to turn all the way around Sparzov. Finds Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right, on the far side. His cross is very deep and it will bounce over the byline, and it will be a goal kick, a wasted one for Truro.
Yeah, so because as he's coming out, you can see that we're right behind it. As he's coming out, that it's just a little lift of the head, assess what the keeper's doing, and it's just technique then, Warren. Just bend that in with your left foot.
Match attendance just being announced.
Thank you very much for each and every one of you.
They're making a big deal of it. 3,062 into the crowd today. We said over 700 Southend travelling fans. I expect we'll find that number out later, but it has been probably the biggest attendance that Truro have had at this, one of the biggest at this ground. They had more than that against York City in their opening home game. But Southend making themselves known as they always do.
Looks more on that as well.
It does.
I think we was told York only bought 300 and something.
Yeah, I think it's because we're right on top of the action here. This is, believe it or not, this is not the smallest ground that Southend have played a league match against. They had this is the 4th smallest ground they've played, with Brackley Town to come in the middle of February. That's 3,500 capacity. Smallest ever was when Southend played Trowbridge Town in the first round of the FA Cup in 1957. 2,000 capacity at that one. Oh, Southend trying to, under a bit of pressure here as Ryan Law has picked up the ball. He tried to put it into a dangerous area. It goes behind the attacker, Ben Starkey. A few calls as Morton for the late tackle in. But meanwhile, Tyler Love Holmes into the penalty area, trying to weave away round boys, but he gets support from Slavi Sparzov, and it's cleared away by the number 33 for Southend. It will be a throw-in for Southend. Looks like must have taken a deflection off of Love Holmes, but again, Scott Morris thought he got away, but there was a chance for Truro there as we approach midway points of this 5 minutes at a time.
And it was the umpteenth player that slipped over. James Morton this time slipping over in a really dangerous position right on the edge of his own box, relinquishing possession, and that allowed Truro to go down that right hand side. If I was Kevin Mayer, I'd be fuming with stuff like that, because it could cost you.
Still just over 2 minutes to go. Truro City 0, Southend United 1. This National League clash. Rooney for Truro on his halfway line. Space to find Dean, the captain. Sanders to Taylor, who's on his left wing on his near side. A Pia Forson trying to put pressure on him. This is the press again, Glenn, and Kendall putting that on Sanders. As his high ball, and he finds Scott Morris. A Pia Forson has hands all over him from Jack Taylor. And he works his way back for Truro. They're trying to spot an opportunity inside this Southend defence. Now it's Oxlade-Chamberlain hugging the right wing on the far side. Out to Dean, puts a cross in but only onto Gubbins' head. It comes off of Kendall's body, holds it up, and now Boys into Parallon. Chance to counter again for Southend. Wants to get the timing right, but the pass just misplaced, and Kendall shut out by Taylor and Dean, who has it for Truro now on this left side.
again, Charlie Kendall, we heard me talk about this, I think at Gateshead, he's got to spin off the shoulder the other way, and what it does, the defender cannot see you and the ball. If you run across the face of the ball, he's seeing the ball and you. Makes life easy.
There's a header into the middle from Tyler Harvey, but there's a foul as they're pushing the back from Harvey against Taylor as he tried to put it into a dangerous area. Free kick for Southend, and I expect that Ndengendi is going to take his time.
Yeah, and now if Charlie Kendall spins out left side off the shoulder, back shoulder of the centre half, Warren, the centre half, if he goes with him, it opens up the middle of the pitch for Liam Parallon to say thank you very much. It's the parting of the sea for him. As what he's done, he's closed everything down, Charlie Kendall, and Liam Parallon's made the choice to pick the pass out. Easily picked off by defenders. Again, on the training ground, it's just repetition on the training ground, understanding that movement when those positions arise.
Into the last 30 seconds, Southend leading Truro City 1-0 here on BBC Essex. And Ndengendi with the goal kick straight down the middle of Truro. Ball is loose as far as I've tried to get there, but Sanders there first for the Tinners. His clearance only as far as Southend's Harry Boyes. He's headed back, and Boyes straight back up on his feet to take it away from Love Holmes and have some really sharp feet to get it away from two Truro defenders. I don't know how he managed that. It was like a Harry Houdini there. Could have been renamed for that one. Good lift, decides to launch it forwards.
Had a shot
with seconds left because he knows that the full-time whistle was close, and Southend get the job done in Cornwall with a 1-0 win. Sam Austin scoring in what was a scrappy moment in the penalty area to bury it into the roof of the net in front of the Southend fans. His second goal in 4 games. And a historic day for Southend United on their first ever match against a Cornish side in the league. They go 4 unbeaten to start their campaign for the first time in 16 years. 4 consecutive clean sheets to start for the first time in 48 years. A superb first opening 4 games of the season for Southend United, but they had to work today against a battling Truro City side. At full time in Cornwall, Truro City 0, Southend United 1. Glenn Pennyfather. I mean, we were at half time, we were a bit thumped in our chairs thinking we hadn't seen a really great game, but it just takes one moment, doesn't it? And Sam Austin was there.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said Southend United got the job done. You know, listen, if you're going to be successful in leagues, whatever league you're in, you have to come to places like this. You have to roll your sleeves up and you have to battle, and that's what they've done today. Was it a game for the purists? No. Was it frustrating? Absolutely. And you have to take your hat off to Truro, because they frustrated Southend, especially in that opening 45 minutes. The goal changed it. He made changes, John Askey, and they went a bit ragged. They started offering and investing a few other men forward, and it opened up spaces for Southend. What they've done, they've got an opportunity. They've taken that chance. Sam Austin has been ruthless, and I've said it in commentary. Blues haven't had a midfield player that's been in the 6-yard box for a long while. That's going to be Johnny on the spot. If that breaks, he's seen that opportunity, he's anticipated it, and he's smashed it in the back of the net. That wouldn't have happened before Sam Austin got here. So that's a pleasing aspect himself. For what they did, they had to defend well. They defended a lot of long throws. They've had to defend free kicks. They looked dangerous from set plays, but in open play it was a frustrating day for them. But as going back to your quote, they got the job done. They've come here, they've taken 3 points, they've got a clean sheet. It's another victory. It's 4 unbeaten. Thank you very much. We'll get on the coach and we'll start thinking about Hartlepool.
Glenn Pennyfather, thank you very much. Well, in these parts of the world, in Kerno, the language of Cornwall, the word for victory is try. And that is what Southend had to do. They had to try for that one. And on that 316-mile journey, the 4th longest that Southend have ever taken for a league game against the opposition, they are taking 3 points all the way back to Essex. Full time on a historic day for the Blues. Truro City 0, Southend United 1. Let's hop back over to the county and into League 2. See the conclusion of Colchester United's League 2 clash against Barrow. 2-0 down last time we saw them. Let's join David Gregory and Neil Kelly.
I mean, the second half, Colchester United by far the better team, just couldn't get that last little bit of the jigsaw really working properly for them, and we weren't able to kind of, like, we conceded the goal in the first half, and then we go at Barrow, aren't able to get that goal. They score a second one. That makes it a bit easier for them to sit back in the formation that they did so very well defensively. But unfortunately, Colchester United couldn't just get that ruthless, clinical edge to their finishing in that second half.
So many chances for Colchester United. Do you know what? In the first half, they created less than they might have done, because maybe they lacked a little bit of quality in terms of the creativity. But in the second half, they created more chances. They couldn't get past Stanway, the goalkeeper. They couldn't get past the blocks from the defences. But when they did get past them, They could not convert and conceded 2 at the other end, and it's 2 defeats in a row for Colchester United. David, it's been an unhappy 4 days for the U's at the JobServe Community Stadium.
Yes, it will, and you look at patterns and you look at different things that are happening, and the second goal was another set piece that we couldn't defend against Barrow, another side that probably have the edge in second, third, fourth headers of the ball, and it's 2 headers that we don't win from that second set piece. That changes the dynamic, doesn't it, in the second half? You're 1 goal down, anything can happen in that last 10-15 minutes. All of a sudden you're 2 down, and it doesn't quite go for us at the other end, and unfortunately we're going to have to dust ourselves down. I mean, it's never easy football to sort of take defeats like that when you feel you deserve something more, but we're going to have to, and we've got a free week now to work on everything in the training ground.
A free week for Colchester United, and a free week in which they've got to try and put behind them 2 disappointing outcomes. Better side today against Barrow. A whole series of chances falling to Payne, Tavide, Reid, Jaden Williams, and right at the end, Adrian Akande and Kane Vincent-Young. Couldn't find the net. Barrow did so twice at the other end, and they leave with all 3 points, and Colchester United will just have to reflect and improve next time when they're away to Barrow in 7 days' time, live on BBC Essex. It's finished at the JobServe Community Stadium. A disappointing scoreline in all kinds of ways. Colchester United 0, Barrow 2.
BBC Upload
with Rob Jelly.
BBC Upload is your creative space to be seen and heard. And it doesn't matter where your creativity happens. You might be on a train, in the pub, cheers, or even in the shower. Do you mind? Gripping whodunits, sketches and podcasts, just some of the things Upload can feature. Whatever you've created, share it with me. Go to bbc.co.uk/upload and send in your work for free.
BBC Upload
with Rob Jelly.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
BBC Essex. BBC Essex Sport.
Back-to-back defeats then for Colchester United in League 2, unbeaten for Southend United in the National League. It's been a tricky week for Braintree Town on the road, but returning to Cressing Road today, and they picked up 3 points, Angus Patterson.
That's right, Victoria. Braintree 1, Yeovil Town 0, and Steve Pitt was talking to Warren in midweek, saying how they wanted to make this place a fortress. That starts with keeping clean sheets, and which is exactly what they've done today. And it was the substitutes who made the crucial difference. Saheed Kamara Jr. coming on, replacing on that left wing, and he was found in some space with a chip. A beautiful first touch to wrong foot his defender, and then he buried the goal in the bottom left-hand corner. Lovely finish, with Braintree deserving overall the victory, I would say, after a strong second half performance. I'll talk to Steve Pitt shortly, but it's back-to-back home victories as well as that home win in the National League Cup, and this ground is turning into a place that nobody in the National League will want to come, and that's exactly how Braintree would like it. Final full-time score here, Braintree Town 1, Yeovil Town 0.
Reaction to come to that win for Braintree in the final hour of the programme. We've had some narrow wins in our featured games today. 1-0 win for Southend United, 1-0 win for Braintree Town. There was nothing narrow about Great Wakering Rovers' win over Wivenhoe Town in the FA Vars first qualifying round. April Smith, just the small matter of a 6-2 scoreline.
Yeah, it was pretty dominant all round from Wakering, although the last 10 minutes I think they'll want to not watch that back. An own goal from Lucas made the final nail in the coffin, we thought, and then there was a flurry of activity from Wivenhoe in 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. A great free kick from Ethan Lane, and then a shot from 20 yards out across the left-hand corner for Conway made it a really interesting end to the game. But Wakering progressed, a pretty standard afternoon for them. And all the best to Wivenhoe in their season. I think they've got an uphill climb in their league now.
April Smith, thank you very much. We'll try and get some reaction to that one, bring you the rest of the scores from the FA Vars. We've had action in the FA Trophy and across the non-league pyramid as well to bring you the full-time scores off in the final hour of the programme here on BBC Essex Sport. And as always, we would very much like to hear from you during that time as well.
BBC Essex Sport.
Hello to you from Victoria Polly on BBC Essex Sport until 6 p.m, rounding up all the action for you across the county, bringing you all the scores, interviews and analysis from our featured games, including from the Community Stadium, where it's back-to-back League 2 defeats for Colchester United.
Barkhazen gets to the goal line, pulls it back, great save by Macy, but it's gone in anywhere. Earing with the header. He scored for Walsall against Colchester United last season. He's repeated the act this time round. Macy with the initial save, but couldn't deny Earing. Colchester United 0, Barrow 1. On to Awura Edwards. Edwards to Reid. Reid through the middle. Tavide onside. Inside the penalty area. Goes for goal when maybe Jack Payne was the better option. Keeper Stanway brings off a near post save. Now is Tavide onside. He is. Left hand side of the penalty area. Payne with the shot. Just wide of the target. I say the shot, he just took out his right foot, got what looked like a goal-scoring contact for a moment, only for the ball to evade the far upright at the very last moment. Samson Davide holding up his man, back heel to J.K. Gordon. J.K. Gordon tried to set up Payne. It falls to Awura Edwards. And not for the first time this afternoon, a used player well placed to score blazes over. Macy doesn't get there, and out of the blue, Barrow, who have defended gamely to that early lead, have doubled it with a close range header. Colchester United 0, Barrow 2. Williams tests the keeper to his left, and suddenly, for the first time in the afternoon, Barrow are giving away opportunities for Colchester United, but again Stanway came to the rescue.
Colchester United doing everything to try and get themselves a goal in that one, but in the end it was 2 to the opposition. Barrow go away from the Community Stadium with 3 points. Youth fans, are you concerned with those last two performances, or is it not so much about the performance today for the Youths, just the fact that they weren't able to score despite the chances? 81333 on the text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your messages with the word Essex. We'll get the thoughts of the Youths head coach Danny Cowley between now and 6 here on BBC Essex Sport. Over in Cornwall, Southend United have continued their unbeaten start to the National League season.
Boys whipping this in. It's for Scott Morris's head, and it's taken off the line by Bell with his foot. It was aimed at that bottom right corner. Excellent climb from Scott Morris. One man who is moving fast is Truro City's Dominic Fisher, who's got past Goodliff, right side of the penalty area, looks to put it across, man onto it is Law with a shot, and it comes off Coker, it goes over the byline, and there's a corner kick. Back to Scott Morris, room for a cross, aimed into the middle, there's a header, and it's in! Well, there's an offside flag, goes up against them. Cuts inside, now into the penalty area again. He's got it to Scott Morris, there's a couple of deflections, and there is a goal this time! And the man wheeling away is Sam Austin. A bit of pinball in the penalty area, but Sam Austin's accuracy awesome in there, and he buries it into the roof of the net. Truro City 0, Southend United 1. Yep. Scott Morris steps up, shoots! Punched away by the goalkeeper to his right into that left corner. It will go out for a corner kick. Scott Morris, it was spinning deftly into that bottom left corner. Spartos on the left, a chance to score. He puts it across to Parallon. Can he shoot? He can't get the shot away as Truro throw themselves at the ball to stop the number 19 for Southend getting a shot.
3 points then for Southend United at Truro. Sam Austin with another goal for Blues. 81333 on the text if you want to react to that, Southend United fans. You can WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your message with the word Essex. As for Braintree Town elsewhere in the National League, well, they're enjoying playing at Cressing Road at the moment.
Braintree with a free kick, and the ball comes over towards the far post. Lewis Walker heads it across. It's chaos in the 6-yard box. Yeovil just about scramble it clear, and that's the most action we've seen for quite a while, Warren, in this one. There's been a little bit of a stalemate as of yet. Lewis Walker's looked the biggest threat for Braintree. Ball goes in again towards Aidan Francis-Clark, and Jed Ward, the Yeovil goalkeeper, comes out to claim it. Good goalkeeping there from the visiting keeper. But currently, Braintree 0, Yeovil 0 here at Cressing Road. Kamara with a chance. Kamara with the goal. Braintree break the deadlock at Cressing Road, looking for that second win of the season and a first ever against Yeovil Town. And Zahid Kamara, the substitute, provides them with the goal they needed. Braintree 1, Yeovil Town 0.
Braintree Town unbeaten at Cressing Road then so far this season. Iron fans, if you want to send me your thoughts, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. You can also email essex.sport@bbc.co.uk. In the National League this afternoon, a late winner for Chelmsford City at Melbourne Park. They've beaten Chippenham Town by 2-1. We'll round up everything that's happened in the Isthmian Premier, the Isthmian North FA Trophy, FA Vars action to let you know the scores on as well. If you've been out and about watching your football somewhere in the county today, we'd really love to hear from you on the programme as well. Reaction to come from our featured games for you between now and 6, and as ever, your chance to get involved too.
Call 0800 111 40 41. Text 81333 and start your message with the word Essex. BBC Essex Sport.
BBC Essex Sports travel news for you then. I'm pleased to say, despite the busy bank holiday, that there doesn't seem to be too much to tell you about on the roads or the rails. No issues to report in terms of problems on the M25, the major routes across the county. Public transport all looking okay as well. But if you know differently, you can let us know if it's safe and legal to do so. The free phone number 0800 111 40 41. We'll have more travel news for you in half an hour's time.
Victoria Polly.
BBC Essex Sport.
Your thoughts already coming into us here on BBC Essex Sports. WhatsApp from Gary from Danbury. Colchester United fans says, what a depressing few days for Colchester, not only on the pitch but the seemingly negativity coming out of the club regarding injuries and expectations for the season, which I think contributed to a flat atmosphere in the stadium. Poor on the pitch and looking clueless when going forward. Defensive shortcomings for both goals. Hopefully a couple of new signings in the week may put a fresh emphasis going forward. On to Barnet next Saturday, up the U's, says Gary. 08000 321 333 if you want to get involved and share your thoughts as well. 81333 on the text. It was interesting from speaking to Danny Cowley earlier in the week. You can listen to the full interview on BBC Sounds by searching for Colchester United, but also the programme notes available online ahead of today, just sort of listing the challenges that they are facing at the moment with the injuries that they've got, the budget, the possible outgoings in the squad as well. And we've learned today about Oscar Thorne being that one to be the next on the list, possibly heading out of the club, a bid being accepted. So lots of challenges that they are working with, but also those expectations of how they did last season. Is there a bit of pressure on Danny Cowley and his Colchester United side, albeit slightly different Colchester United side, to do something similar this season? So be interested to know your thoughts on that. It's been quite the discussion around that on social media over the past 24 hours or so. Your thoughts as well if you're a Southend United fan on another win. We will get to your messages, and we will also hear from our Southend United summariser Glenn Pennyfather, who has been watching. We'll make sure he can hear us in the depths of Cornwall to get his thoughts. But let me just run you through the full-time scores from elsewhere. Starting in the Premier League in the early game, it finished Manchester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Spurs continuing to be City's bogey side at the Etihad. Full-time scores from the 3 o'clock games: Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0, Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0, and Burnley 2, Sunderland 0. Arsenal against Leeds kicks off at 5:30. In the Championship early games, it finished Charlton 0, Leicester City 1, Hull City 0, Blackburn Rovers 3. Problems mounting off the pitch for Hull City, and Swansea City 1, Watford 1. They are full-time scores from the 3 o'clock games. Birmingham 1, Oxford United 0, Coventry City 7, QPR 1, Coventry 5-0 up at half-time in that game. Norwich City 1, Middlesbrough 2, Norwich down to 10 men in that one. Preston 1, Ipswich Town 0, not been the best of starts to the season for Ipswich. Sheffield United 0, Millwall 1, Southampton 1, Stoke City 2, West Brom 1, Portsmouth 1, and Wrexham 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Sheffield Wednesday coming back from 2-0 down after all the problems they're having off the pitch to draw 2-2 with Wrexham. In the Scottish Premiership, it finished Celtic 3, Livingston 0, Hearts 3, Motherwell 3, and Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 0. In League One's early games, Luton Town 0, Cardiff City 1, Rotherham 2, Wigan 2. That was a late equaliser for Paul Mullen for Wigan to level things up in that one. Full times from 3 o'clock, AFC Wimbledon 2, Barnsley 0, Bolton 1, Lincoln City 1, Huddersfield Town 1, Stevenage 0, Mansfield Town 4, Leyton Orient 1, Northampton Town 2, Exeter City 0, Peterborough United 1, Bradford City 1, Plymouth 1, Blackpool 0, Port Vale 0, Doncaster Rovers 1, Stockport County 2, Burton Albion 1, and Wickham 2, Reading 2. In League 2, early games, Newport County 1, MK Dons 2, Walsall 1, Salford City 0. 3 o'clock, Accrington Stanley 1, Grimsby Town 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge United 0, Cheltenham Town 0, Barnet 1, another win for newly promoted Barnet. You know about Colchester United 0, Barrow 2, reaction on the way. Crawley Town 0, Tranmere Rovers 2, Fleetwood Town 1, Oldham Athletic 1, Gillingham 1, Crewe 0, late winner there for Gillingham up against a Crewe side who started the day top. Harrogate Town 1, Chesterfield 2, Notts County 2, Bromley 2, and Swindon Town 2, Shrewsbury Town 1. In the National League's early game, the football gods were smiling down on Morecambe. They got a 90th minute winner. Morecambe 2, Altrincham 1. That's their first game of the season after all the problems they've had with the takeover and the potentially going bust. So they get off to a winning start with that new squad of players that they've had to put together. Brackley Town 2, Rochdale 1. You've heard about Braintree Town 1, Yeovil Town 0. Reaction on the way. Eastleigh 2, Boston 0, Gateshead 2, Tamworth 1, Halifax 1, Forest Green Rovers 2, struggling at the start of this season, FC Halifax. Hartlepool United 3, Woking 0, Solihull Moors 1, Aldershot 5, Sutton United 2, Scunthorpe United 3. You've heard about Truro City 0, Southend United 1, more on that in a moment. And Wealdstone against Carlisle is the 5:30 kickoff. We will bring you the scores from across the county as well from the local leagues and run through everything that's been happening. We've had across FA Trophy, FA Vars, as well as the usuals, including a 2-1 win for Chelmsford City in the National South, a 90th minute winner, or just before the 90th minute, Kai Corbett with that winner for Chelmsford to pick up their second win of the season. So run you through everything else that's been going on. Nemo says Austin looks like the goal scorer we've been looking for. Let's get some thoughts from former Southend United midfielder, also host of the BBC Essex Fans Phone-In, Glenn Pennyfather, who was watching for us at Truro today. Took Southend United a while, Glenn, but they got the goal they needed.